Hey everyone, Last Luke here again with Party Jams, ready to talk about some more weekly Shonen Jump chapters. Woo!
Yep, hello there. I
Yeah,
just finished reading the chapters myself, so I'm fresh off of these chapters and really liked them in general. I think last week was better than this week, but this week was still really good.
yeah. This week was still really good, and particularly I have a lot to say about Doctor Stone, particularly from what was discussed in the Controlled Chaos Discord. But we'll get to that when we get to it.
Oh, okay. I didn't even see the Discord chat yet.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. So which one do you want to start with? Which series do you fancy taking a look at first?
yeah. Well, I know we don't have an established order, but I think we do generally start with the newer ones just because it's Oh,
Yeah.
actually, now I think about it, there was another new one. I don't think I read that one, right? There was
Uh,
another new one that came out
there
too?
was another new one, but I I think it's only online. I think it's kind of like a Ayakasha Triangle
I
situation.
I didn't see it though when I went on because I'm on Viz's website actually right
Yeah,
now.
yeah. I don't see it either.
Okay,
So
maybe there wasn't. Yeah, okay, never mind then.
I
Okay, yeah,
guess
so anyway, I say let's start with the new ones just because they're usually easier to tackle, and we save the bigger ones for later anyway.
yeah. So let me just get it up. So which one do you want to talk about first? Dora Dora or Ayashimon?
Let's do Dora Dora.
Yeah,
I
okay.
have some things to say about that one.
All right. Let's. Oh, yeah, I've got it up. Got it up. Um,
And I'm making note of
so
the turn.
Dora. Let me get it on myself. Yep, there it is. Right. So Dora, chapter 3. So we finally got introduced to the what I presume is meant to be the main female lead of the series. So her
Yeah, I
name
believe her name is Jin Chuyo.
Jinchuyu. It Jinchuyu Yagyu.
Yeah.
That's kind of a mouthful.
Yeah, I think it's either easier to just call her Jin or Chio, but I'm gonna try to call her Jin Chio for now, so I can
Yeah.
try to get used to these names. Because I do feel bad when I read a series and I can't remember the characters'
Oh yeah,
names.
definitely. So this chapter starts off with her just basically getting word that hey, there's these two out there. They're getting rid of all the Ayashimons. One of them is Ayashimon themselves, so you might want to go and check that out. And the thing about her is that the reason why she's doing all of this, why she wanted to become a samurai in the first place, was apparently she wants to be promoted.
Yeah, and it seems like there's a little more to that reasoning than just financial reasons. So I'm glad they touched upon that because that gives me some investment in learning more about this character. Because I'm already kind of interested in her. I was afraid, like, oh, this is going to get a character who's going to fall for the main character or something. So far, so good. Nothing like that.
Yeah.
And I will say, well, I mean, we'll talk more about that, some of the other stuff when we get to the end. Let's go in order.
Yeah. So after she gets word of all of this and she goes on patrol, we cut to uh our
Dora.
Dora. Yeah, it's in the title, Luke. It's in the title. Remember the
Yeah,
name. we
yeah, we'll get it. We'll get it
yeah
in
yeah
time.
yeah. So we cut to Dora and Kusanagi, who are basically the landlord is like, yeah, you flunked everything, and now you're gonna be homeless. uh, and and the and blah blah blah. Kurosaki is like, "Why are you doing this for me? Uh, it's all my fault. You're just feeding me super fancy food, and
But the super
um,
fancy food is just ramen.
yeah, it's just I
It's just
didn't
like
even know.
this cheap ramen and potato chips.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. I didn't even notice that.
Oh, wait, you didn't? No, that was part of the joke. He's not even,
I
he's barely getting
I
food.
know, I know. I was like, I've only just noticed
Although,
that now.
I mean, the thing I wanted to bring up with this particular point is, one, we still don't know a lot about the, what are these monsters called?
Uh,
Hang on, sorry, I need to remember what this names are thing. Mononoke, yeah.
Mononoke. Yeah,
Yeah, so the
I believe
Mononoke, there's a lot we
just
don't know about them
yeah,
just yet, but the fact is here we can see that they can sustain themselves on human food. So then it's like, well, so it's not like they need to eat humans. Like some series like Tokyo Ghoul, for for example, or Attack on Titan, they make a point to be like, okay, there's like a reason why humans are like targeted as like the food source. But in here, like there's right now not an established reason. So we might hopefully get into that. I would like it if the series dug into why the Mononoke are
Yeah.
specifically trying to eat people, because they don't seem like they need to.
Yeah,
So,
that does seem weird. Also, I'd just like to say, I think in the comment, let me just get it up. Yeah, Kama, Kamataya from the Control Chaos Discord has just commented. Basically, I believe this is what their ranking is for the series at the moment. Like, could you correct me on this? If you're still watching, like, is this your ranking for the new 3 series? Like, I think of it as a hamburger versus salad situation. Yeah, I was thinking more of it like it's kind of like a reverse Promised Neverland situation. That's what I was thinking. Like,
yeah, I mean, that could be it. But, and I do like that explanation. It's simple and straightforward. But I just wanted to be explained because there could also be very like plot relevant reasons for why the Mononoke are attacking humans as
yeah,
well. But yeah,
um,
it could just be as straightforward as just like the promise never lands. Would you really give up on your favorite food if they told you not to eat them?
yeah. But yeah, if you're still watching this, if you're gonna keep around, can you just tell us, Ayashimon, Shugamaru, and Dora Dora, are those that how you rank the 3 new series at the moment? If you could let us know, that would be great. But yeah, moving back to
Because yeah,
the
both of us just dropped Shigemaru like
yeah, we
really
did.
quickly. And from what I've heard, like I've seen some people talk about some of the gags later on, but it seems like it's still repetitive as expected. So
Yeah,
I'm not too keen to go back because I went back and picked up like the piano series again, 6P,
yeah,
but
yeah. But
I
look,
don't really feel like picking up Shigemaru right now.
yeah, and looking at PPPPP, that looks like if it
Oh, okay,
stays at the
Shigemaru is
bottom.
dead last. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, yeah, it's just the way you put it's just the way you put it. You put it Ayashimon, Shugamaru, and Dora Dora. Like that's how I assumed. Like, okay, that's how you rank the 3 series. Um, but yeah, yeah. As what I was saying about PPPP is that if that continues to be in last place for a good like next month, I could see it being cancelled.
Yeah, me too. And that's part of the reason I didn't want to pick it up. I wanted to see if it would survive after Phantom Seer, especially just getting into a new series that's like on the verge of getting axed is just depressing. But I figured I'll just read it to completion anyway because it's gotten better, but not. I don't think it's quite amazing, and I can see why it's going to be axed. Honestly,
Yeah. Oh,
um,
I ordered it on publishing. Oh, okay.
uh,
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Going back to the series, so just reaffirm it. They reaffirm their partnership or whatever, and then we get our Jinchio. Jinchio just showed up.
Yeah, Jinchiyu, and and she's like, yeah, yeah, I've got some business with you. I'd like to come in. Uh this I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for work because the apartment, despite the fact that the landlord was making such a big deal out of it, yeah, it's a completely run down apartment, and
Yep,
she consents. Kurasangi, like that name is still hard to pronounce.
Kusanagi. Yeah,
Kusanagi.
you actually got it right the first time, so I was
Yeah,
like impressed.
yeah, because I was actually looking at it in the chapter itself, but not having it on screen, it's kind of difficult.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, understandable. We're not Japanese speakers, but anyway,
yeah,
she recognizes Kusanagi, which is our first hint that you can't sense spiritual energy like this. So similar to chakra or ki or like spiritual energy, literally all the supernatural stuff. You can just sense it if you have the talent to do so.
yeah. So
And another fun thing to make note of is Jinchio herself. She makes a note of the apartment reeking, and we see like her with like a snot bubble the entire like time she's in the apartment, and that's because she has very sensitive allergies.
oh
So I thought
yeah,
that was a fun little touch.
yeah. That raises that raises the question. Is like, does if the people that can sense the spiritual people that can sense the spiritual beings, does it heighten their all their senses.
Maybe
Yeah,
it could
or
be.
is
I
it
mean,
just a
like
coincidence?
what I was gonna say was for Dora, like it could be that he is similar to Maki from Jujutsu Kaisen, which I know you don't read, but put simply, Maki has like no curse energy, which is their magic energy thingy in that
Okay.
series. And the reason she doesn't have it is because there's like this heavenly restriction thing where in exchange for not having any curse energy or being able to see any monsters, she can just have absurd physical power. So there's a chance our character is going to be similar in that sense, if it wants to go that route.
Okay, fair enough. That yeah, I could definitely see that. I could definitely see that. So moving on, we have basically Ginchio trying to attack Kusanagi and Dora getting in the way, and she's like, "Why are you defending a Mononoke?" And of course, Dora being the good natured guy is that yeah, it's not a Mononoke, it's a new species of snake.
And she is like the spiritual energy is a giveaway, which
Yeah.
begs the question of like those other samurai that we've met so far. They haven't actually they didn't notice Kusanagi beforehand. So I wonder if our character is just like really talented. I mean, she already established to be talented, but maybe only the most talented people can have this level of sensory ability.
Yeah, I think it's like what we said last week. Like, there's an order to like how these samurais are ranked. So, like, those two might be the lower echelon of the samurai, and she might be um, like
Higher up, cream
higher
of
up,
the crop, as it's called.
like sort of like how it is with the Gote 13 with Bleach. How you have like the seventh seat, the third seat, and then you have like the captain.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like it's
Um,
kind of going to go for a similar situation. Yeah. But moving on,
yes.
we have uh, we have Dora getting ready to turn Kusanagi into a katana, but he's like, "No, I don't. No, I don't want to." And we have Ginchio saying, "If you don't release that Mononoke, I can't guarantee your survival." And
Well, before we
basic,
move on, I just want to
yeah,
say Dora apologizing for resorting to force, I think, is a nice touch. Because I feel like in any other series, this is where the main character would pull out their weapon and start fighting back. So I
oh yeah,
think
yeah,
this is like the first like real distinguishing point of the series, where the character isn't just going to resort to like uh, hurting people willy nilly.
yeah. I thought that was a nice touch as well. Now that you brought that up, so we have basically trashing this whole apartment. Before we have a basically being fooled practically, which I thought was like, what the how did they do that? Like, because you see, like she thinks it's the Mononoke, but then it's like, no, it's this guy, and then it's like, right. So wait, can Kusanagi disguise like its aura to be like someone else, basically?
At this point in time, I'm not sure if the spiritual energy can be distinguished between the different species or not. Like if you can tell, okay, this is a human versus a Mononoke. I think Kusanagi might just have like a level of energy that's comparable to humans, or maybe that our character just didn't realize that Dora doesn't have any spiritual energy. I kind of more just took this as similar to Black Clover, where higher level fighters usually are so dependent on their sensory abilities because they can sense like spiritual energy or supernatural stuff that they sometimes ignore their other senses, which is how Dora, with his physical combat, was able to get behind her. Also, I guess it's the first time our character did like something that was smart, so that's nice for him to pull off like a basic tactic.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, I can see that. I can see that. Like they were just so fixated on their task that they completely ignore. They completely Ginchio completely ignore Dora. Basically, is that what you're getting at?
Yeah, yeah. Like remember in Black I remember yeah, you actually read Black Clover.
Yeah, yeah,
When during the selection exam, what was it called? The Royal Knight selection exam or something.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
They had a tournament where Zora's plan was to trick the vice captain of the whatever the pink team was called. I'm blanking on the name. Trick him into thinking where they were, but because he's so used to using his spiritual energy that he fell in for a trap that Zora set up. So it's similar to that.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
That's what I was thinking when I read this chapter.
Yeah, I can get behind that. So we have Ginchio basically being fooled by the old switcheroo, as Dora puts it. Yeah, because she says, I was so focused on the spiritual energy. This guy doesn't give off any at all. So yeah, she was so fixated on that she was like, oh wait, I kind of got
because
fooled.
she usually fights these Mononoke and probably the other samurai as well for training, and every one of them have crazy supernatural energy. Yeah.
So
Dora has none.
Yeah, so this is going to be interesting when they go up against other enemies in the series, like how what they perceive as a weakness is actually going to be a major advantage to them.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Again, though, this is pretty similar to other characters like Asta, where they have like no magic. So it's not like it hasn't been done before, but yes, this will definitely play a part in it.
Yeah. Minasia's brother. Is that reference to Black Clover? I'm just reading the comment here that he posted.
Oh, Mimosa's brother. Yeah, that's to Black Clover, because that's who that vice captain was. Oh my God, how did I forget his name? I like that guy.
Yeah,
he's like a bit of a troll, but I like him.
Yeah, don't let Faboyo, Blazing Stan, Charmy's husband let you know about that.
No, he would definitely give me a hard time. He'll say the name, and then I'll be like, how did I forget his name?
And then
if you're watching this like at a later time, I'm sorry, man. I'm really bad at this. I've gotten so old to the point where I can't keep up with these big shonen casts anymore.
Yeah. But yeah, basically it we have Ginchio.
Oh yeah, so then we have her basically asking Kusanagi, thank you. Kusanagi to attack her. He says no. And I remember at the time I thought this line I thought she was saying this to kind of prove to Dora that, oh no, he's really evil. But now we know in a page why she did all that.
Yeah. So we have getting away from them. They try to escape. She's calling them cowards, and they're like, yeah, whatever, because samurais aren't our enemy. We only slain evil Mononoke. And then it turns out that all of this was basically just a test for them.
And it's funny in this chapter, they also, because I'm usually not a huge fan of I was secretly testing you this whole time, but I'm kind of letting that go because they kind of pointed out and that this character is a huge hypocrite and it's part of the joke. Yeah. So yeah, I'm okay with it this one time. But what's interesting here is, she brings up actually in the next page. She talks about how that she got these testimonies, and we saw those panels from the last chapter. So what's interesting is those panels we saw were her gathering information. So I think this is the first time the series has done something cool like that, where they actually, I don't know if I want to say foreshadowed, but kind of like connected two chapters in an interesting way.
Yeah, I would say like it wasn't really foreshadowing. It was just kind of like just being a connection and kind of a continuation from last chapter. But yeah, I want to go back to what you were saying.
In a very creative way, though, because I didn't realize that those panels were her gathering information, but it makes sense.
Yeah. But I just want to go back to what she said, because she said it's there's
the joke, yeah.
The joke about about her being a hypocrite, because she's like, I understand it's super annoying when someone tests or violates you without your consent. Whenever some idiot CEO says you pass, I'll date you, I'll tear them to pieces. So yeah, it's pretty much I think it's pretty much here saying that yeah, these two are not going to get into a romance.
Oh boy, I hope not. But yeah. That's a good sign. It's a good sign.
So we have the landlord coming back and basically berating them, like, why did you destroy my property? And this is going to cost about 1 million yen. And to that, I would say, yeah, one, I don't think so to repair that crap hole, basically. So
Yep.
so to, yeah, so to get them out of the situation, Ginchio basically is like, yeah, I'll pay the rent, writes the check, and he scoots off. So
Yeah, I guess that's just her way of saying samurai are very well paid,
yeah,
and
yeah,
she's high ranking enough that again in Jujutsu Kaisen they make a point to show like how Gojo is like super wealthy and it can afford all kinds of expensive things because he's like the best jujutsu sorcerer in the world. So
isn't isn't Goju like that guy that's become a meme for just spreading his arms and jogging down happily?
oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, he
yeah.
did. That was that one scene.
Yeah,
Uh,
I've seen the meme, I've seen the gif, so I know who you're talking about there.
yeah, I mean, he's a very popular character. His birthday was like trending in Japan, and I think to some extent worldwide, because Jujutsu
Why?
Kaisen was very popular. And I mean, the joke with him that's a bigger meme, in my opinion, and I guess, um, well, first, yes, I see your comment there coming out. Yeah, I can definitely see her as more of a Nobara type, whereas like Nobara wanted to get famous and recognized, and she wants to get promoted. But I feel like Nobara's, as we learn about Nobara's character, it was more focused on her wanting to live a different life than the people back home. But then again, we don't know what this character's motivations are quite yet in getting promoted. Just, but we'll get to that at the end.
Yeah,
Sorry, anyway, what I was going to say about Gojo was that the author of Jujutsu Kaisen is not quite happy with how popular this character really is. So he's actually very much written out of the story in a funny way. And
wow.
since he trended, the fan base was like, "Oh no, he's gonna be staying off screen for like several more chapters."
It kind of reminds me of like Geen from Bleach, how Kubo made him like the creepiest character ever, and yet he has such a massive fan base, and he's like, I don't know why.
Yep, that's actually very similar. I mean, Gojo's not like nearly as creepy, but he is not necessarily a role model either.
Right. Oh my god, that's
But
hilarious. But yeah,
yeah, it is very.
um, back to Dora. Dora. She so after leaving the apartment, her nose stops running,
Oh, well,
and
right before that, I just wanted to make
yeah,
funny
yeah.
that I didn't know the landlord was a woman. I'm glad they kind of brought that up as a joke near the end. But yeah,
Oh right, I didn't even notice that. Like I didn't even notice that. I'm like looking at that panel. I'm like, also it's ma'am, not sir. Like wow, I didn't even notice that as well.
yep, yeah. This
Okay.
chapter had a lot of good jokes. I very much enjoyed the character dynamics, which is always a good start to a series. Should always start by selling us on your characters. I think
Yeah,
so, anyway.
yeah, definitely, definitely. So we have Ginchio saying, "I'm a very effective samurai," and Dora's like, "Yeah, so what?" Um,
And
but she
nah,
yeah, and
uh,
Kurosage is basically fanboying over her because you see him going, "Oh, you're important," and you just like the sparkles in his eyes.
Kusanagi, that's it. I keep
Kusanagi,
forgetting.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So he's
I'm
basically
sorry, bro.
fanboying
Forget
over.
your name right soon. But yeah, Kusanagi is just like a child who's like enamored, and I kind of understand him. He like someone's kind of reaching out to him, so he's just having this one point in time where someone's actually like, "Oh, hey, I could use you."
Yeah,
But I understand. I'm actually appreciating that Dora's skeptical about this because I was also really suspicious of her. Like before I finished the chapter, I was thinking to myself, okay, wait, you started this chapter by saying, oh, I need to save people to get promoted. And now you're trying to recruit these guys, even though you're very sure that what you're trying to do is probably illegal. Um,
yeah, yeah,
so
and
it's like, wouldn't that put your career at more risk? Isn't the risk worth the benefit? So I would think that the only reason she was doing this is so she could get rid of them at some point in time. But based on how things went, it doesn't. I don't think so anymore. But for a moment, I was thinking that. I just wanted to bring that up.
Or maybe that would be a twist. Like the whole purpose of recruiting them was just so that she could kill them eventually.
It could be, but I don't know. The way this series, I mean, one, they kind of addressed it to some extent in this, because Dora said if you, in page 22, if you, this is a trick, so you can kill Kusanagi, you'll regret it. So number one, if she did pull it off, that would pull off a very interesting, twist between their dynamic right away. But two, I also feel like this series is going to go the direction, even if she is in a position to choose, eventually she'll choose them over the samurai. I don't know. That's just the vibe I get from the series. It feels like it really wants to go the standard shonen route,
Yeah,
at least for
yeah,
now.
yeah.
And yes, Kaminata, people have weird
People,
taste, but that's
people,
I can't talk because I'm the guy who's always like simping for villains in
yeah.
this series.
Well, people have weird taste. Just have weird taste. Yeah, not um, no better demonstrated by the guy on Twitter who said, "Oh, Mutsumi from Yosako family is useless and annoying," and I'm like, "Excuse me, have you been reading the series?"
Yeah, I did see that tweet. Um, but I can see why people may not like Mutsumi that much, but
Yeah,
she's definitely not like useless.
and
She just
so
doesn't not combat centric.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think that's
well,
the thing. I think if you're reading the series like if you read Yozakura like a combat series, then you're gonna be like, oh, this character who can't fight is useless. That's why I just really
but
don't
then
like shonen fans.
Keigo, who we'll get into it in a Keigo, who was ranked in most popular character, he can't fight. Like he's established in the last chapter that he has no combat abilities himself.
Kango. Yeah.
Keigo,
Actually, well, yeah, we'll talk about more later, but
yeah,
I actually saw some people in the comments who were surprised Kango was actually ranked that high,
yeah.
which I'm thinking to myself, did you read the last chapter?
I know, I know. People have just
But
not
to
been
be fair,
reading.
it wasn't probably until the last chapter that I really started to like Kango. I mean, I liked him, but I think he did become like a top character for me with that last
Yeah,
one. And
I had
betrayal tropes, I have a question, sorry, I'm not pronouncing your name right. Did you mean like you don't like betrayal tropes, as in you don't like it when characters are setting up for a betrayal, or that the betrayal is set up and then it doesn't go through, or both, maybe? Just
or do you
as a question of clarification.
yeah. Yeah, we'll get back to that. We'll get back to that. Let him comment. But for now, Ginchio says, "But no matter how good I am, I can't protect the whole town alone. I need strong collaborators cooperate with
Cooperate.
with the samurai." And they question like, "Yeah, is it allowed to cooperate with a Mononoke?" Uh, Before she says, "Oh, I doubt it. It's probably an act of treason, I think." But yeah, yeah, this is gonna come back at some point. Like when the I think when the Council of Samurai find out about this, they're probably gonna do something about that.
Probably. I mean, I do like Jinchio's like mentality here. It's like I'm gonna take advantage of this situation, have them destroy Mononoke for me, and they can't take the credit obviously because they'll get in trouble. So she can take the credit for all their stuff, and it allows them to do what they're doing and still get paid, as we learn. And in addition to that, she gets the credit. So it's a beneficial relationship. But again, like when I was reading this chapter, I thought to myself, it feels like the risks way outweigh the benefits because this is
Yeah,
unprecedented. So I don't. Oh, hang on. The comment. I
yeah. I
hate
was
betrayal tropes in general. Also, just call me Kama. I will do
okay.
that, Kama.
Okay, Kama. Yeah,
But yeah, no, I can agree with that to some extent. I feel like trader setups can be set up well, where like Astra Lost in Space had, I think, like a pretty good one, where it was like set up for a betrayal, and then eventually I'm like, oh yeah, this actually fits super well. And then I think, but I do agree it's more than often usually poorly executed. I'm trying to think of a really good one because I know there's some betrayal
Aizen.
trader stuff I really like. Well, okay, Aizen, I guess to some extent counts. But there was another example
And
I have in my mind, but I forgot.
I guess you could I guess you could put Makima in there as well, technically.
Yeah, that actually might be like one of the really good ones. But the thing with Makima and Aizen is, I think of them as like the final boss revealing themselves. But it's like I'm trying to think of like a good trader specifically. But you're right; those are like some of the best, I think, setup ones
Yeah,
in shonen manga, at least.
yeah,
But yeah, I can't. If I come up with one, I'll explain it later. But yeah, I will admit, usually betrayals are usually executed poorly because it's
yeah.
well, we'll talk about it because there's a lot of them.
Um,
Because
so anyway, wrapping up the chapter, we have Ginchio saying, but if there is a chance we could save even one person, I think we should try it. We can report after the results. And yet Dora pretty much sums it all up. She seems kind of nuts, but Kusunagi's like, "Oh, she's so cool," and they're like, "What do you think of it?" I think it's great. It's a miracle. Before we get them trying to before we get Dora trying to worm his way out of it, but then Ginchio reminded him like, "Yeah, just who paid for your rent again?" So like they're kind of like stuck now until they've pretty much paid her off.
yeah,
Um,
and well, they're also getting offered an income, so
so
yeah,
yeah,
they kind of need it. They don't have a place to. I mean, they need money.
yeah. Which makes the question: where are they actually going to stay at her? At, at her like is she going to be like, look, I don't want you guys living in this apartment anymore. Come and live with me. Is that? Do you think
Well,
that's going to
I
happen?
mean, if they get relocated, I could see that. One, I thought since she paid for the apartment rent that they'll just stay at the apartment. But if they get translocated to different place, if they do live together, again, I really just don't want the weird hijinks of boy girl living together because I have like two series already about that.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't need
good point.
another one.
Well, there's three. Well, there's three if you count Witch Watch, Mission Yozakura, and if this
Oh yeah, I didn't
happens.
count Yozakura. I mean, because I mean they're married. That's so different. It's
Okay,
like one
fair
thing to
enough.
live with, like, oh, a guy you kind of have, like, maybe or not in a relationship with, but living with your wife and husband, I mean, your family, so that's different.
Okay, fair
At least in
enough.
my mind.
Yeah, all right, fair enough. That makes sense. That makes sense. But yeah, we have Dora basically saying to Jinchio, if you kill Kusanagi, you'll regret it. And she's like, I wouldn't do that. I need you to advance my career. And saving people is synonymous with advancing her career, and career advancement is important to her. Before we get an interesting look into okay, there is more to this than meets the eye because we get name dropped a guy called Eugene. So it so is this kind of like a samurai rival? Did he betray her to like something else, and she kind of like wants a revenge against him or something like that.
Well, it's either a rival character she wants to catch up with, which would be similar to Kaiju number 8, if you for anyone reading that, or it's someone who died who she has to keep a promise to, which is like the standard cliche. But yeah, I kind of would like the idea of like she has to like go fight this dude, and to do that she has to advance. That's almost a little more interesting than those other two
Yeah,
alternatives.
like I'd
But we'll
like to
see. There's
think.
a lot of possibilities.
Yeah, I like to think that he probably ties into when she first joined the samurais, and
Oh, like a
he
mentor character.
like she yeah, probably like a mentor character who betrayed her, who like abandoned. Oh, that would be good. Oh, that would be good. He abandoned her to the mercy of a Mononoke.
Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see. I have a feeling we're not going to learn that for a little bit.
No, but that would be interesting. So it's like try to advance turn so like she can basically say like, oh, I'm not weak anymore, so now what you gonna do, you're gonna abandon me again for just to better yourself or something like that. That's good. I quite like it, would like it if it was like that, like he abandoned her because she was weak, and he was like, yeah, Mononoke, you can deal with her.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I do like that idea, but
Yeah,
I mean, that's highly speculative. We have no information on this
we
dude
have
other
no
than his name.
idea. Yeah. um but yeah, to end the chapter, they all fist bump. Well, but both Jinchio and Dora fist bump, and Kusanagi does a head bump.
Yeah,
Show,
it's cute.
yeah, show me what you've got for my advancements, for my rent. We're going to make the world a nice and happy place, and yeah, that's where the chapter ends. So yeah, pretty solid chapter. Really, really enjoyed it. Uh, really enjoyed it, and I'm just reading a comment from Furman in the Control Chaos Discord on the Mission Yotsukawa page.
Yeah, I saw that. I
Yeah.
don't know anything going on in the Discord right now,
All right.
so
Yeah. Don't.
there's
Yeah.
probably a
Don't.
lot of discussion. Yeah.
Yeah. There is a lot of there is a lot of discussion. Just gonna write something quickly.
Okay. Yeah, so my final thoughts for the series, or final thoughts for the chapter, is that I enjoyed the introduction and a little bit more expanding into their system. And I'm assuming that from now on, we can really get the plot started because we have all the characters introduced. So all that's left is for the characters to start just doing missions and fighting. And probably we're going to end up introducing more samurai that we actually care about. Expecting that to be what's next chapter, just like what's our day to day going to look like.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. So yeah, that is Dora Dora, and I think now we can safely move on to Ayashimon.
Sounds good.
Right. So let me get it up. Ayashimon, we have it here. Okay. So this chapter.
Yep. So this one, kind of what we were thinking, where the monster, not the monster, the well cube head. I forgot which creatures' names are because these are all Japanese folklore and I don't know it. But the cube head, he got his beaten down, and then our character basically gets to become the boss. I'm kind of skipping ahead a little bit, but that's essentially what
Yeah,
happens.
that's essentially what happens. Aside
And what I
from
like about that is, well, one, we predicted it, but also it gives like an interesting taste to like the amorality of the Ayashimon itself. They are just they don't really have like the kind of loyalty that it's like, oh my God, you just killed somebody that we cared about. They were just like, nah, you'll come back to life in a couple hundred years, which for them is
yeah,
like nothing. So it's like a very interesting system. I like it when stories don't have like those moral rigidities. If anything, it's almost a little stranger that our character, the big sister, is so out for revenge. But I guess that's her dad versus just a random dude they follow. So
yeah,
I'll give her that much.
yeah.
But sorry, I kind of skipped a lot ahead. Did you have anything you want to say for those first pages?
No, I didn't. Aside from how flimsy this how flimsy this building is, or I guess
How strong Murak
how
is.
how strong he is, because he basically punches a hole right through the floor so badly that they end up falling through.
Yeah, I did not expect that, but oh, that was such a good transition into the title page, I will say.
I
But then
know.
I do like the part where even he was like, "Okay, even I thought I was gonna die. I know I'm trying to be a manga character and all, but dang, that could have
I
killed me."
know. I know.
And then he just finds out he killed the other guy.
And
Oh
he's like,
man, that's so fun.
oh, you're kidding me. And then we have Big Sister going like, yeah, how could you wreck the office we're about to steal? I wanted to use this place. And he's like, yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah,
And then we
and
have
yeah, everyone was cheering him on and then trying to befriend him. And it's not like they held anything against their boss. It's just they, like Ten did. They just this is just how they work.
yeah, because as the Big Sister says after we have them basically saying, hey kid, you want anything to drink? All the booze bottles. But yeah, I love that. They're like, hey kid, you want anything to drink? And they immediately go to booze and they're like, no, all the booze are broken.
Hmm. Which yeah, that checks out.
Yeah,
Uh,
but as the Big Sister says, the average yokai is typically whimsical, lazy, and irresponsible. They're completely abnormal with no sense of right or wrong. If they're having fun, even life of death stops meaning much. Which I've got to say must be a pretty good life to live, because it's like, hey, you're having fun. Oh, I'm dead. So what?
yep. Which is a very interesting stance. And yes, Kama, I kind of agree with your interpretation. I do think that Big Sis seems to be acting like someone who is going to have training to become a better schemer in the future. Because I think this chapter especially shows us she's not even aware of everything, which is nice.
Yeah, yeah,
But she's also very intelligent, as we also see from this chapter. And I think that's a good place to put the character at right now.
yeah. So we have what's his face? 10. That's it. 10 from the last chapter going. Basically now, fanboying slash make me your big brother to our main character, and I'll follow you for the rest of your life. And he's like, you're pretty you're pretty damn flaky too. And he's like, no, I'm totally serious about it. I mean it. And they're like, yeah, do you mean it? Do you really mean it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
see you, Zengatsu. Thanks for stopping by. I feel better, man. I get it.
yeah.
Today's been quite a day for me too, but
All
I
right.
hope you feel better.
See you later, Songetsu. Hopefully you can come to next week's stream if you're feeling much
Yep, and
better.
these are uploaded to Luke's channel. You can always just watch what we say there.
Yeah.
And I'll leave
So
timestamps for anyone who wants to skip between the different series.
yeah. So we have 10 going, oh, you're my hero. You were like a manga protagonist, and that makes the like, yeah, I was kind of like one before.
That was such a cute moment. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Before we
And
have
then I love the next panel. It's like, come on, let's get drinks. It's like,
yeah.
yeah, we'll probably start killing each other once we're no longer is hyped up. Oh
Yes.
man.
And perfectly summing it up, what really Jizu Ayashimons are so confusing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Before we have Ura, that was her name. Like so we have Ura basically being told the MC
Tomorrow.
that really likes these ritual jewel stuff. Ayashimon too. This really is the life for me, and he thanks her for that, and he's totally on board with being her bodyguard for the rest of his life. But one thing I want to say is that I honestly want there to be a duel where he's like thinks it's going to be a fight, but then it turns out it's a card game like Yu-Gi-Oh.
Oh, like it's a duel, but it's like, oh no, I have to use my head.
Yes.
That actually would be hilarious. Because then he's like, but I just want to punch. But I don't know if that's gonna happen just because of the way, like, what Ura says a bit later, like what the benefits of the system of this little ritual system is that it's designed to use brute force rather than cunning.
Yeah.
So I don't know if
Fair
we'll
enough.
see that, but we might see we might have other characters who will refuse a ritual and then force them to be like, no, you got to use your head for this. So
Yeah,
that would be smart.
that would be smart. So we have Uru saying, basically saying what we've been saying. Yeah, that yeah, the MC, yeah, this guy, Maru, that was it.
Yep,
Yeah,
Maru.
this guy. There's no way he is a normal human being, and it turns out he's probably a Maro Bito, which
Marabito, I think.
yeah, which I'm kind of in two minds about. One mind, yeah, it does make sense for this guy has way too much look to be a regular human, but on the one, I kind of wish it would have just been like, no, he's just a really strong human.
I mean, well, first of all, yeah, a game of shogi would be pretty hilarious to watch.
Yeah.
MC tried to figure out shogi, but then he's just gonna somehow use physical strength to win at the end
Yeah,
of the day.
just imagine
I
him
don't.
punching the shogi board.
And then be like, yeah, that counts as a legitimate move, and Ayashimon shogi somehow. I don't know. But anyway, so I see what you're saying, but at the same time, I think the fact that every single character so far has been saying that, yeah, Maru's not an ordinary human, um, is kind of pointing out that he was not going to be somebody. I mean, I know the whole idea of, oh, chosen human is somehow special is kind of like very cliche in shonen, but I mean, I think we already have, like I said, with like Black Clover, for example, we kind of have a protagonist who is just born without magic, and so that therefore he can use anti-magic and stuff like that. So I don't think you necessarily always need. Plus, I think in Dororan we have like a character who's just pure strength. So I think here it's fine for him to be like this character. In addition to, because of what happens later, we start to see that humans have a part to play in the Ayashimon dynamics.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
So
So
if anything, this just expands like the lore of
yeah.
like
Oh
now
yeah.
we get to learn about Maribitos and like what their place is in this society.
Yeah, so it's like, so it's basically, to put it bluntly, he's a rare, Mo- Moru is a rare breed of humans born once every few generations, and he has the strength to go toe to toe with the executives of a major syndicate. But one of the dumbest things about this underworld is the reliance on the ritual jewel, which disregards the cunning and resources in favor of deciding things by brute force alone. So yeah, but the fact that she mentions this is the underworld, it's the underworld ritual jewels, makes me think like, okay, yeah, we're probably going to get more jewels that are not part of this system. So it might
Oh, it
actually
could
be
be. I could see that.
the idea of like, oh, he has to use his brain for once. But of course, we know Moru is as dumb as Taiju from Doctor Stone, basically.
Yeah, and we'll talk more about Taiju when we get to Doctor Stone at the
Yeah.
end.
So we
But
have
yeah, then we see Ura after that just start. Okay, there's a lot of text, so I'm just going to sum up like her plan, if you don't mind. I don't
yeah,
want you to
yeah, yeah,
start reading all that
yeah.
text.
I don't want to read all the text, so you
Okay,
can
the
sum up the
sum up of
plan.
the plan is basically that she now is using the phone records in order to get an idea of the power system or power structure of the underworld as she's left it. And I think that's actually pretty clever. She decided to come to this office in order to get information like this. And her plan is she's going to use that girl we met last time, Hashihime, to basically go find someone with authority, and she can do that because she's been in the system for a long time, so she has connections. She's going to find some executive and then get him to a place where Maru can then go challenge said top executive, and the top executive would likely agree to that plan with because of her Ura's status as the daughter of the last head. And when I was reading this chapter, like at this page, I was thinking to myself, oh, that's actually pretty smart because we already established that, okay, Maru is so strong, he can already go against the top people. So what's the point of still fighting a bunch of fodder up until we get to like the very top? We can just skip our way there and just start dealing with them. And so I thought, okay, that's pretty clever. And that's why we're establishing. And I thought, okay, I wonder where the series will go from after that. But then we get the twist, which comes up, which page 13, when she starts realizing that everyone's frozen, which I have to say that's kind of hard to depict in manga. It's all a bunch
Yeah,
of still images. But yeah, then we get to the twist. So you
yeah.
can start talking from here if you want.
Yeah, then we get to the twist where we have someone who cannot say hello properly. Um, yeah. Who calls himself the Cabinet Officers Public Safety Police Force.
Yeah,
Uh,
he's apparently number 11. These guys go by numbers. He's
yeah.
number 11.
So this actually gives the idea of like, oh, okay, so now they have to deal with the police force as well as the underworld crime syndicates as well.
Yeah, and to my understanding, as we'll see in a bit, these police forces are actually human beings.
Yeah, yeah.
And
But here's the question: Do how have they got these powers? Because if this guy's a human being, because he's upside down on the ceiling, and yet when he touches the floor, it sends out like a shock wave whenever he touches the floor. So like, what power does he have?
I mean, yeah, it's a good question, and I definitely want to learn about it because they do like see we're seeing women use like talismans number 4, her his partner. So I think they might just have items that let them use powers, or it could just be that certain humans just have powers in this world. It's not just the Ayashimon who have abilities.
Or
And that's why I think that sorry, just want to finish this point. That's
okay,
why I think that Maru being introduced as a Maribito is like a pretty good thing in this chapter because we're starting to see that there are humans who are also special who can kind of dance alongside these Ayashimon and deal with them. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
yeah. Or another idea is that they have the blood of Ayashimons in them.
Oh yeah, like hybrids. Yeah, that could work. Like kind of like how vampires. I think in one show I'm watching, they have like half vampires dealing with vampires. Like Castlevania, for those of you who've seen that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry, come on, I forgot to address your thing. Yeah, him, his genetic mutation. I think I see what you're trying to like just comfort Luke's in saying that Maru's probably still not all that special, but I don't know about that if the way it's worded that one's born every 1,000 generations is just a genetic mutation. It could be because that is what's up with Asta in Black Clover, but it could also be some kind of Naruto reincarnation thing because reincarnation is a big part of the story, as we learned from the Ayashimon themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see if
We'll
that's.
see. So, uh, so we have
Yeah. Sorry. Continue.
o, Omi, Omio, uh,
Oh, the
on
police force's name. Yeah.
yeah
On
on
Mio, I believe.
or I could just
On
say
Mio
on
is how I pronounce it.
yeah, or I could just say on make your own.
Oh,
Um,
make your own.
yeah. So they detected a violent alteration with an undocumented entry at the cafe. With all the laws against organized crimes nowadays, we have to investigate even the low level things. So he's questioning like, did she make this hole? And we see just like how strong these guys are compared to the Ayashimons because he's a because we have his partner being able to restrain Uru, which is pretty much the first time. Well, we're only 5 chapters in, but the first time she's ever been in like any like oh shit
Real
moment,
danger. Yeah.
basically. And it's something that even she can't see herself because she says something's holding me down. So it's like she can't see what's holding her down, which is something really interesting that I'm like, okay, just what are the powers in this world like? How
Yeah. The Shiki, I believe they're called.
yeah, uh did they say Shiki in the
Yeah.
chapter?
Yeah. Go to the next page. They say Act number 4. Please, using a Shiki is a major deal. All I wanted to do was ask a few questions.
Oh, okay. What page is it? Oh wait, yeah, I can see it.
Page
I can
17.
see it. I can see it. I can see it. Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah, so Shiki are basically like, I guess their equivalent of guns, which in Japan, you have to like fill a bunch of paperwork just for like pulling out a firearm, as I've learned, which is very different from American society. We are very more liberal on our gun use.
yeah.
But yeah, I
So
guess so. Using a Shiki is like a big deal, sort of.
yeah. So I'm just gonna go back to page 16 when they say if that threat isn't enough, I could just kill you on the spot. The Omi Okay, so that's not his name. It's just it's the uh,
Oh yeah, no, no, no. His name is number 11,
oh right
and she's number 4.
yeah, number 4. Yeah, I can see it. So basically, the Omi Bureau is basically like the James Bond agents because they have a license to kill, basically.
Effectively, yes.
Yeah. Uh,
Um,
so
and yeah,
we have
let's see.
them. We have them quote. They have them ask it.
So we have the
The, yeah,
characterizations basically, where number 11 is basically kind of a carefree. I don't make my life harder. I'm the laid back dude who just wants to just like do the job, get paid, go home. And number 4, who is like, might have some kind of personal history with Ayashimon where she's willing to just use force and kill. Basically, a good cop, bad cop kind of dynamic going
yeah,
on.
yeah. And also it wouldn't surprise me if they're actually similar because they look so similar. Like it wouldn't surprise me if they were actually siblings.
It could be. I mean, it could also just be that the secret agents all have like the similar kind of look. But yeah, I wouldn't mind if they were siblings. It would just be a lot simpler to explain this.
Yeah.
But then
Uh,
it's also kind of weird that they would call each other by their numbers,
not really, because
just because it's professionalism.
it's professionalism. Yeah.
All right.
Um. So, um. So we have them. So we have them basically. Okay. Yeah. Maru is to their eyes is just a average looking human thug. So they can leave it at that. And they have reports and they have reports to fill out before leaving. They say we of the Omio Bureau are always looking after the peace in Shinjuku. Watching everywhere all the time. So if you could keep that in mind before they actually disappear. So it seems like they're setting up for the Omi Bureau to be like the main antagonist faction, as opposed to just the Ayashimons themselves, the rogue ones that they have to deal with.
Yeah, and I do think having human antagonists helps make things more interesting and helps expand the world. I think that's what this chapter really does. It just expands the world a bit more for us.
Yeah.
Both Ayashimon's moral principles or lack thereof, in this case, and the Onmyo Bureau and their agents.
Yeah.
So we can tell that this is like a threat that even Ura's scared of, because she went from, okay, I have a plan to get to the top executive and just speed run my plans, to, okay, drop everything. We're going to run and hide.
Yeah, we can't do that anymore. Yeah, because you see her like
I love that when stories.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, you could see her like on page 18 visibly shaken by what happened.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, which is very rare for her. And I mean, it makes sense too, but I really like it when a series goes from, okay, we have a good plan, to, okay, unexpected threat, change of plans, nothing is going our way, we are on the defensive again.
Yeah. So to wrap out, to close out the shots, we have the two Agent 11 and Agent 4 standing on top of a telegraph pole for some reason. Saying that...
Yeah, that's actually true. There's no reason for them to do that. These guys are so extra.
I know. So they're talking about the two undocumented. So I guess they're talking about Uru and Maru as like the two undocumented. Like, oh, these two, the undocumented Ayashimon. So do we have to do something about them?
Yeah.
Before they mentioned that there's something off about Uru's aura, and she's probably a headache to watch. Before they have an argument over being a big fan of. Is there anyone?
Well, it's kind of. I think whoever's on the phone with his like boss or something is saying, "Can you handle it?" And then he just wanted to say, "No, I don't want to deal with this." And so then number 11 comes up with the plan to leak information to the Enma Syndicate.
We could have them deal with each other. So I guess what they're going to try and do is like, okay, in order to get rid of them, we're just going to have them fight the Syndicate and hope they die in the process.
Yeah, and I do kind of like that they kind of show the police force is a little corrupt. They're like using the gangs to fight each other off, which is like some tactics that police forces have used in the past. I also want to bring up, since they brought up the Enma Syndicate at the end, and we kind of skipped over it because it was a dialogue-heavy chapter. Dopo Araki, he's like the current chairman of the Enma Syndicate, and apparently a young dude. So we're going to meet him probably soon if they're bringing up the Enma Syndicate.
Yeah, he's probably going to be like the first like boss kind of character. Well, aside from this boss that they've already dealt with, but like the first big boss that they have to deal with.
Yeah, so far there's been kind of just scrubs to help address things about the world. But yeah, I think we're getting our first major arc in the Enma Syndicate will be like the first thing to deal with.
Yeah. So yeah, pretty good chapter, pretty solid chapter. Great world building and great lore surrounding the series, and I honestly cannot wait to find out where this actually goes. Like, if this confrontation is actually going to affect Uru in the next chapter so badly that that it affects her ability to actually do anything functionally, and what Ten and Maru are going to actually say to this situation.
Yeah. And I'm looking forward to. I really like our cast of characters so far, even the new characters we introduced. I think the series is off to a good start, and I'm looking forward to the first arc. And Kama, I could see this Araki guy being like a rival character, like one of those enemies to rival kind of deals.
Yeah, I can see that as well. So yeah, that was Ayashimon. So So, which series do you fancy looking at next?
Yeah, let's see. Like I said, I usually like to just deal with like the simpler series off the bat. And in my mind, well, you didn't catch up with Undead, right?
No, no. The part I'm up
That's
to at
fine. I didn't read the
the,
chapter yet, so I was gonna say like if you did, this would have been awkward.
yeah, the part that I'm up to at the moment is okay. They're in the middle of fighting Rip on repair, and
Oh,
Tatiana's
cool,
yeah,
cool.
and
Yeah,
Tatiana's just revealed her like what her human body looks like.
got it. Okay, so yeah, we're not doing that. I didn't read the chapter anyway yet. So the next thing to do, and personally, I would say let's do Blue Box.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah. Let's do Blue Box.
it's
So let me get it up quickly. Because this chapter, I was like, when I was reading, I was like, oh my, I cannot wait to see what Party Jams wants to say about this.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, let me talk then. So this chapter, if anyone who's caught previous streams, this was a chapter I was looking forward to because I think the series is much stronger in its sports than its romance, even though I think it's overall a little weak in both areas. Um, but since it's a sports chapter, we got a lot of really cool shots happening. At me on Discord for Mashal. Yeah, come. I haven't read the Mashal chapter yet, but when I do, I will.
Yeah,
I'll make a
and
note of it. But
and
I
Karma
haven't read.
and Karma, I don't read Mashal, so I cannot say anything about that series. I've tried reading it; it's just not for me.
And that's fine. I think even I'm starting to notice a trend with a lot of people who are like really digging Mashal, starting to get more bored with it. I'm still having fun. I think some chapters are a little weaker than others, but this I think the series is still like good for me. It just may not rank as high as it once did, but that's fine. That's just how
Yeah,
it goes. But okay, back to Blue Box. So yeah, we're in the college badminton tournament, and we're basically learning some tips. And again, I don't really want to do things like point by point for
no,
this series. If that's okay with you, Luke.
yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay, so my thing is like first we start with Hyodo, who I guess is going to this college, which I guess that explains why he's here. And then he starts giving some random tips. And what's interesting with these random tips is I think to myself, if this series wasn't just like, oh, here's a tidbit here and there, but felt more like a natural progression of skills rather than a character just learning something randomly, it would feel a lot more natural for the character's growth other than, oh, yeah, he's gotten better because he's beaten people he didn't beat before. And also, he learned this small thing and that made him better, I guess. I don't know. I feel like even in terms of like the sports, they really could go more into like the technique to use to improve. I'm
Yeah,
not a huge sports guy, but in sports series I have read like Haikyuu. I think that's what I usually like about those series. They do better with like how the characters are improving. Well, here it's just like, oh yeah, I played with these college kids, and now I'm been better, I guess. And then we see Hyodo. He's like apparently a chill dude when he's not competing, which that's nice. I kind of like seeing the side of him. And the other thing is they bring up Yusa, which the thing I wanted to say about that was that Yusa was a character I wanted to see more of because he seemed very interesting. But here they just kind of say, "Oh yeah, Yusa's really good at badminton," and I'm like, "Cool, I knew that already."
yeah,
But yeah, it looks like basically they established what I already kind of knew that Yusa and Hi, 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 Hayaru,
Hayaru. Yeah,
no, sorry,
Haru.
Haru, sorry,
How are you?
Haru and Yusa are like the two top Batman people right now for their little part of Japan. So our character basically knows who he has to go up against, which we kind of already knew. And I think like my favorite joke at the end in this chapter was just like Hyodo, just like comparing this kind of almost breaking the fourth wall a bit, where he's like, I like it when the underdog wins. And he was just like, it'd be cool if some genius exchange student suddenly transferred from a no-name school. It's like this is a sports manga, which it kind of is. which
Yeah,
also, if that happens, I guess would count that as foreshadowing, but whatever.
yeah. But
Anyway, sorry, I skipped through like half the chapter, Luke.
oh,
So, and I've been talking. Go ahead.
it's fine. It's fine. I'm not bothered. But one thing I want to say is like on chapter 4 and 5, yeah, um, where it's perfect example of where Blue Box can excel really good and like with its artwork because it like just the detail on that shuttlecock very well detailed on that front and just
Oh yeah, agreed.
dynamic and just the the smacking of to the ground technique that's been done if that makes sense basically.
Oh yeah, no, it does. I think they gave it a name before, but I'm forgetting what it is. But yeah, yeah, it's really good.
um so yeah, pretty much the chapter is just basically learning the techniques and and finding out that oh yeah some of the people are going to nationals and Yusu put Haru through hell no Yusu put the MC through hell the last time and he's hoping to get his uh revenge before uh yeah, as you say, where Haru says, "I like it when the underdog always win, who ends up winning." Like he likes that, and I love the joke that the other characters make about that. It's like no one would see that. No one would see that coming. I have no idea what that guy's thinking.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just a fun jab at like the genre, but again, it might just actually happen,
yeah,
and that's just the author's way of saying.
it might just happen. So we cut to the ending of basically the day of training.
Hi, Amy Campbell. I don't understand what you just typed. Sorry.
Oh, that's probably a bot.
You think? Okay, could be because I don't recognize what that could mean otherwise.
Yeah,
All right, that's fine. Continue.
Amy Campbell. If you're not a bot, say it within the next 5 minutes.
Okay, so continuing on with the chapter.
Yeah. So continue on the chapter. We cut to the end of the training. The end of the training where we have where we have Caillou who was planning to go with Taki and Hina to the fireworks festival, basically saying, "Oh yeah, I've come down with a fever, so I can't go to the fireworks festival today." And he's like, "You okay? I caught what you had from when." I think this is all just complete bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, we see him literally just laying in bed texting.
Yeah,
So the weird thing is, it's like when you look at his nose, it almost looks like he does have like a snap bubble. So I was a little unsure, but based on the next text
I think
and the fact that we know his character is like the one who's self-aware of what's going on, he probably is like, yeah, no, you two just need to go and figure this out.
yeah, that's what I was thinking. He was probably like, okay, these two, they're not gonna admit anything. They're complete idiots about this. So okay, I'll say that I'm going with them, but I'll think of an excuse to get out of it. And that was the
Yeah,
best he could. And he was probably he probably made it look like him just to put on the show. But as the saying goes, like, oh, he's probably got some man flu. Like
yeah.
he's acting up a bit, so just to get them to be alone with each other. And we have Hina going, "Yeah, that's fine with me." So like basically, she fell for it. Like she
Well,
couldn't
she
work.
fell for it, or well, yeah, actually, she is kind of not very smart about these things, so maybe she did fall for it.
Yeah. Um.
So then we get to the actual festival itself, and then Hina's running late.
Yeah. And then we have Taki basically being like, basically think he sees
Shinatsu.
Chinatsu, but it turns out it's somebody completely different, and he nearly had a heart attack, and and he immediately thinks, oh, because of the hair, it's a doppelganger.
Yeah, and I mean, we'll probably will run into Chinatsu at some point in the festival, and I'm not looking forward to that moment.
Yeah, especially when we get the end of the chapter, which is basically everyone talking about how everyone discussing the festival and Taki saying, "I was scared for a second there." Even though it's the same chase, the fact that it doesn't just go one way is what makes love even harder than badminton. I
I will admit
remember,
that was a good line.
yeah. I remember that yeah, and he sees candy apples, and it's like, oh yeah, Hina likes those, and we see Hina in the chapter, which yeah looks good in a
You could tell. Yeah.
yukata. Yeah, and just like, yeah, what is it? Nope, that'll be 300 yen.
Which is like $3 for those who need that conversion.
Yeah. I love, I love,
But
I love that with Japanese stories where they make a big deal out of like, oh wait, that's 10,000 yen. Yeah, that's probably only about no, that's 1,000 yen. Yeah, that's probably about $10.
$10.
How are they ever going to
Yeah.
afford that?
Japanese currency.
Yeah,
So weird. They run on pennies, basically.
yeah.
Or whatever. I don't know what the British equivalent of pennies is.
Uh,
I just know the
actually,
pound exists. Outside of
yeah.
that, I don't know.
I think let me
Pence
just
or something?
yeah, it's same. It's pennies, pence. Let me just see. 300 yen to pounds. Oh my god, it's the price of the official Shonen Jump manga app, like £1.99.
Oh, wait. 1 yen is 1 pound? 99?
No, 300 yen is one pound
Oh,
ninety
300.
nine.
Oh, oh, because it's like $2. It's even like less there. Oh, wait, no. It's like, oh,
It's the same.
yeah. Yeah, I got it. I got it.
Yeah. Yeah, it does say any let me see, 10 yen to pounds. Yeah, 10 yen is about 6p in English currency.
6p being like,
Pennies, 6 pennies.
oh, okay, you guys do use pennies. Got
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Cool, got it. All right. Anyway, so I do like the way she looks at Yukata, and I'm pretty assuming this is what's going to happen next chapter. We're going to have these two spend some time together, maybe um, start to recognize each other's feelings. And oh, okay, you blocked Amy. Good.
Yeah, because I feel like, yeah, it was probably
That
just
was probably a bot. Yeah, that's fair.
yeah.
And then at some point, Shinatsu will show up and things will get awkward. That's my prediction for next chapter.
Yeah.
What I'm really hoping is, please do not do like some cliche fireworks thing. I am not dealing with that. I
Let
know the series.
let me
Like,
guess.
there's some tropes I just really hate.
Let me guess. Let me guess what trope you hate the most about fireworks festival. They miss the fireworks show.
No, the fireworks thing is going to be like the moment they're about to confess, the fireworks go off, and the dance maker goes, "Huh? What? Did you say something?"
Oh,
And then she'll
that
be like,
will
"Nope, it didn't happen. Nothing. I didn't say nothing." And I'm like, "Why?"
that will probably happen. Like, which again, I've got to give praise to GE Good Ending for because okay, there's a there's a scene early on in that series where the the main male and main female go to a music festival with each other, and they're arguing, and the main female is like, "Why are you being so protective?" And he's like, "Because I love you," and there's no like, it actually just comes out.
Yeah, that is nice, and it's not what's going to happen here.
Nope.
So overall thoughts of Blue Box. The college stuff was a lot shorter than I was hoping for, honestly. But I thought it was still like the really cool, well drawn stuff and nice to establish like where the characters are. I do wish they were a little more in depth with the sports, but it's still, I think, the better parts. And then the festival stuff is, I feel like, going to go down the exact cliche route I just said.
Yeah.
Like the best part in that aspect is just that, what's his name? Rio? What was his name? Kyo, not Rio. Kyo.
Yeah, kill.
He was at least like stepping in and doing his best. But man, oh, Luke, I think we have another bot somehow.
Let me have a. Yeah, they are bots. I'm just gonna block them.
Yeah, go ahead, do it. Um, anyway, so with Kyo. Oh, sorry. So I feel like, is going to be like particularly upset when he finds out the cliche randomness happened because he's like, I went out of my way to get you guys together,
Yeah,
and then you messed it up, Taki. How?
yeah.
How much
It's
more hand holding can I do here?
yeah. He's probably gonna be like getting up out of bed and being like, and they're gonna be like, what's going on here? It's gonna be like, I thought you were sick. It's like,
Like,
no,
that's not the point.
that's not. And he probably
Oh,
like,
oh, if they do that, okay, you know what? This is also a cliche, but I find this cliche particularly funny, is that you usually have, when you have characters who are on like a date, you'll have like their close friends kind of observe them from afar to see how they're doing. So if something does happen and Kyo steps in and he was doing that, but we weren't aware as the audience even, because usually the audience is aware of the shenanigans, but if we weren't, that would be kind of fun.
yeah, yeah, it would be. So yeah, overall feelings on Blue Box. Still enjoying it, but I really think it could go into more depth with some of the aspects of the series.
Agreed.
Yeah. So yeah. I guess I guess we could do Black Clover since that's a short chapter this week.
Oh yeah, sure, sure.
Yeah. So yeah, Black Clover.
I'm gonna pull it up myself.
Yeah.
There it is.
Because yeah,
Yeah,
because
this is a good time.
really, yeah, because really
So
this
for me, so go ahead,
yeah,
Luke.
really this chapter this week, it only had like one really major aspect about it, and that was Asta's new Devil Union
Devil
form.
Union. Yeah.
Yeah. But aside from that, it was just basically more of the same fast-paced Black Clover action.
Yep. And so I am fresh off these chapters and haven't read on everything. So this is far from final because I still have to read like Jujutsu Kaisen and everything, which could still surpass this. But right now, Black Clover might be my chapter of the week because my God, this was an awesome chapter.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. For me, I really it's a toss up between um, Mission Yosakura or Witch Watch for me.
oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah, we'll get
Yeah,
to those for sure.
yeah,
I have some thoughts about Yozakura as well. Anyway, but with this one, we see it kind of answers one thing for me that why was Asta just outside the giant Megazord, and now we know why he's outside the giant Megazord.
yeah.
So I'm glad they
Cause,
explained that because I was very confused when he was like out there. I'm like, when did you get there, and why are you there? So
yeah,
that's one thing. And then the second thing is just like, my God, just like the paneling and just the confidence we get. And so many flashbacks to so many moments that have led up to this. I love the way this is paneled. Like on page, I'm kind of skipping a little bit here because, like you said, it's a pretty fast paced chapter. But page 5, I just love the way that just outlined. Tabitha is just so talented, man.
oh yeah,
Love that.
definitely. I definitely love that as well. So yeah, basically we have we we have us we have Asta and Leech standing
Lebe.
up Lebe standing outside the giant Megazord Black Ball ball thing. So they're basically saying yeah, we're gonna avenge Leech it
Asta's mom, basically.
yeah, Asta's mom, because I cannot pronounce that name.
Yeah,
Um,
I think it's like Leechshot or something, but it's German,
sure.
but it doesn't matter.
Um, so they're not going to let Lucifer into the world, and we see that basically. So now Lebe can um, basically merge with Asta. So basically, they're basically doing what I think Shadow May hopes to do with Suzu in Ayakashi Triangle.
That's an interesting way to put it. But basically, I think this is like a new Devil Union form. So I think we saw like a couple different versions, and this is like a new
I,
one they have, I
I
think, using Yami Sword.
Yeah, I think this is more. I think this might actually be the complete form, like the complete Devil Union form.
It could be, yeah. I mean, also his double forms, or sorry, Devil Union forms are not like the most mind blowing in design, but I have to say the hype to this form was still like I think what really got me.
Yeah,
So
and how much blagger can Asta get at this point? And the answer
It's very true.
is none, except for his face.
Yeah. Which, I mean, that's going to get down some very, very
Yeah,
no-go route.
yeah, but yeah, if that happens, if Asta's face does become black, that's gonna get Twitter going off on one, if you know what I mean.
Yep, I do.
Yeah. So we
And then
have
the next page, I also really like this line too. We weren't chosen by mana, and so we'll make our own choices. That was
yeah.
such a good line.
Oh yeah, and we have the attack on the Lucifer blob blob creature, whatever that thing is, which basically demon slash infinity slash equinox. I think that
Equinox.
equinox, which basically slices the monster with just a pitch black dark late dark beam gets a potential thing.
Yep. Yeah. I think it's supposed to mirror Yami's attack
Yeah.
that he's done before.
Yeah. Do you think that anti magic, because the way it's being done here, do you think anti magic and darkness magic are connected in some way?
Oh, you mean like how they might? The interesting thing is, dark magic. I think it was allegedly supposed to be like from a different dimension, which, as we know, is like where Yami is from. He's from like a different world altogether. And Asta's
He's
magic
from
is,
Japan.
and
Where did that come from?
and then Asta he's using anti magic from a devil from the underworld. So I guess in terms of the fact that they are both not from this plane of existence, but separate plane of existence, sure, I can see that.
Yeah. Um. So we have the creature being split in half. Everybody's looking gone. It start. I think it starts coming away. I'm not sure if that's what's meant to be on the bottom of page 12. If that's what that's meant to be, like the creature crumbling away.
Here, let me see, page 12. Yeah, we have the equinox slash, and then
Yeah, you
oh
see
yeah,
it.
the bottom.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, what we're seeing there is I can explain. So if you remember, or maybe you can go back to the previous chapters, Yami and William were both encased in like this like stone or something coffin, and this is that said
Oh,
like
okay. Oh,
coffin
yeah,
breaking
yeah.
down.
Because see on the next page, they're like falling. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
That
there's
makes
like
sense.
rock those leftovers there. Yeah, that's what that was.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I love the explanation of like how that happened was just that the demon slasher chooses what to cut. It's a katana
Yeah.
that doesn't cut what it wants to protect, and that just goes so perfectly with what Asta just said.
Oh, yeah,
So yeah,
and it
I just
fits.
love the beauty of this moment.
Yeah, and it fits perfectly with Asta's character as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
Yeah,
100%.
yeah.
Oh, and then we see the elite. Oh, sorry.
Which this this should be like one of Asta's like base attacks from now on.
Yeah, well, I mean, it depends what you want to call it. Consider base,
Like you know
because
how.
like the Devil Union, he himself can only like, use it like a couple times. I think it's similar to yeah, and similar to how Ichigo when he was first using his hollow powers, he has like a time limit on them. So
Yeah,
he probably can't use it as a base quite yet. Maybe
yeah,
in the
but
future.
I feel like if he does more training with it, it could become like a base attacks because if that's
Oh
the
yeah, yeah,
case,
I can see it down the line, like years from now, or years in the story, I should say.
yeah, because if that's the case, then that's a really like OP ability.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but oh, now that I've said yeah, OP abilities they have a time limit on them.
usually, but then OP abilities can sometimes have like restraints put on them in other ways, like there's counters to how to, whatever. But yeah,
So
I could see Asta using this more often in the future,
yeah, so if
and it has
that's
like so much meaning.
yeah, so if that's the case, what do you think what do you think like the if there is going to be restraints on this, like you said, what do you think there'll be?
Well, I mean, what I was trying to say was usually like in power scaling, Shonen series, like what was once a super powerful move will like down the line just become a standard move because other people have equivalents. Like for example, in Dragon Ball, the first time we see the Kamehameha, it would put out a fire on a mountain, and that was insane. But then it's like literally everyone can use the Kamehameha, like it's super
Wow.
casually. So I think in a similar way, Asta, like, I mean, I'm not saying this will necessarily happen in this move, but like other characters down the line will have something equivalent to the Demon Slasher.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I can
Like, I
definitely
don't know,
see that.
Angel Counter Strike or something.
Yeah. And
Just throwing it off the top of my head.
yeah, and to round out the chapter, we have flashbacks to Yuno and Yami's time with Asta, and basically them giving him a big
Well, not,
fat
knocked.
oh knocked. Oh, I keep sorry. Do not attack me. Anyone who watches this video for me calling that, do not attack me.
Yeah, it's okay. But yeah, I do like this move. We can see like how Asta's grown on them. And God,
Yeah,
that was such a beautiful ending. I also just wanted to point out back on page 12, I think one of my favorite panels in this, from already cool panels, is seeing the two fire siblings. I'm blank on the last name right now. Fuegelion siblings?
yeah, yeah,
Whatever. They're the fire siblings were just like in awe of like Asta's attack, and you know how strong they are. So if they're impressed, that
yeah,
means this
yeah,
is like a really strong move.
yeah. And now, that judge guy that has the balance ability.
Oh, Damnatio, I believe his name is.
Ignacio, what's his take on this gonna be?
Oh man, yeah, that is true. But we'll see, because all this really started when Asta went on trial for being like a devil host. So at some point that has to be addressed. I feel. I
Which
hope they do a
actually,
decent job,
actually,
and rather than
that
just brushing it off.
actually question, why, what about Nat? What about Nash? Has he been on trial before?
The weird thing is, like, when he stepped into, like, the captain council room the first time, a lot of them didn't even recognize him. It's very weird, but I feel like a lot of people just don't know about his existence.
Huh. But
Because I think he's kind of acted as, like, the equivalent of the Black Ops unit for the Black Bulls, where he does the undercover things.
huh,
That's how
hmm,
I interpreted his
yeah.
character.
But it's weird. It's weird how nobody seems to
Yeah,
be like,
nobody noticed that this dude with, like, 5 devils was
yeah,
already, like, one of their
yeah,
wizards.
yeah. And then all of a sudden, Asta has one devil. It's like, oh, execute him right away.
Yeah, but to be fair, he was also being used as a scapegoat. I did like that part of the story. They did address that he was very much a scapegoat, because
Yeah,
if they did it, they needed to punish somebody, and if they had to otherwise punish they couldn't punish the elves who had passed on. They couldn't punish Golden Dawn because they were like the top guild or whatever, or squad, not guild.
yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough.
So
But
yeah, but at
I
the same time, you are right. You are like the fact that like no one knew about Noct is kind of embarrassing when it's like it was just like a dude working for the kingdom with like 5 of these things.
Yeah, yeah. Which begs the question: if not just walks up to the king, like, how would he react?
You know what would be really nice is since the seals of the underworld have been very much opened at this point, if more devils came through and just started making pacts with humans, and we get more devil hosts.
Oh, imagine if the king became a devil host and he was, just so that he could have more power. But
Oh
then,
man,
but
that would
then,
actually make him an interesting character, though.
yeah,
Actually,
yeah, and then, oh, what's his name? The balance guy. I'm trying to think again. What's his name? The guy with the scales.
Damnatio.
Dan Nashio. I keep forgetting his name.
That's
And
okay.
then
I'm not
he
even 100% if that's his name.
and then he
I'm pretty
sees
sure it is.
and then he sees the king and he's like, "Wait a minute, why have you got a devil? So do I have do the scales have to mean you have to be executed, Your Majesty?"
I don't know. We'll have to see, because it feels like I don't know. It feels like the royal family gets a lot of special treatment.
Yeah, but yeah,
But the interesting thing is where the story goes from here, because we effectively just like destroyed Lucifero's conduit, and Yami has been saved. So is
again,
Yami gonna like now pass away due to something next chapter? Is the
again,
arc over?
again, I think Yami is going to be possessed still. I still think that's going to be a last resort from Lucifer.
You know what? That would be great, especially after this like triumphant moment.
Yeah, because
Because
that
like I was just saying like more devil hosts. We could just what if people just started getting devil hosts? Like okay, we need to start getting other people devils, and then Noct teaches them how to do that,
yeah,
so that they can fight these fight Yami
because
with
that's pretty.
Lucifero.
Yeah, because that's pretty much how Demon Slayer ended with Tanjiro being possessed by a demon.
Yeah, spoilers for Demon Slayer, I guess, but yeah, Muzano was going to do that. And I remember at the time when I was reading that part of the story, I was like really excited because I thought, oh man, that's actually a really nice twist. But then
I actually thought that I still think that there was more to Demon Slayer that had to happen. So that was probably what the author had originally in mind. It's like,
you think
okay,
so? Because
I
they. Okay,
because
sorry, go ahead.
from what I believe, ended ended Demons. I've heard lots of speculations going off on a tangent here about Demon Slayer. I've heard like they what they I've heard that they had a family emergency, which they were like, okay, I need to end this so that I can go back and deal with my family affairs. Like that's what I heard. So I honestly believe
Okay, I
what
didn't know that.
I honestly believe what was meant to happen was that Tanjiro was meant to be possessed by Musan for much longer, and Nezuko was supposed to take over as the main character for like another half of the story to kind of get Tanjiro
I
back.
Yeah, I would have been really impressed with that series if it ended like with the main character becoming the ultimate villain in such a way and then having to be destroyed because
No, no,
that would have been very emotional gut punching.
I don't mean actually be destroyed. I meant like, okay, Tanjiro's gone off. He's now a demon. They have to go and get him back in the same way they had to rescue Nezuko in the first half.
Oh, okay. That still would have been still more interesting than how it actually ended. Because
Yeah,
I
yeah,
always thought that Demon Slayer, I mean, Demon Slayer is so popular and has like sales beyond sales that I figured the author could just end it however they wanted. But if they had personal circumstances, that would have been
yeah,
different.
yeah. That's. I think the general consensus, like they had personal circumstances, and it could have been like something like just throwing out speculation here. Their parents died, like, and they were like, okay, I need to end it to go sort out my parents' affairs.
Yeah, could I don't know. I mean, that would explain a lot,
That
but I haven't heard that before.
that's just pure speculation on my part because it just seems weird that Demon Slayer ended the way it did.
It
It
does. It really
it,
does.
it does seem like like that whole Tanjiro being possessed that could have easily been like another half of the story in and of itself.
It really could have.
Yeah,
Um,
but yeah,
Anyways, let's go
let
on to what do you want to do next? We have.
um
Uh, you said your like Black Clover was well like my so far chapter of the week. So what did we talk about? One of yours.
yeah, I guess we could talk about Witch Watch. So yeah, let's get up Witch Watch quickly. Um Oh, not Ayakashi Triangle. There it is. There's Witch Watch.
All
So
right.
yeah,
So which watch? I'm just writing down the time. Okay, go ahead.
so yeah. What I love about this is not only are we sort of we're moving into a new arc of the story because
Yep.
it's like Summer Monsters Part One, so that's like okay, this is going to be a new arc, but as well, who's along for the ride?
Yeah.
Nemu, which, and as you've said in the past, after the big arc, we usually get another person being added into the frame, and the fact that we've had
True.
so much focus on Nemu makes me think like, yeah, she is gonna be moving into that house.
Yep. I have a feeling that's what'll happen by the end, but
Yeah,
I'm very looking forward to this arc myself. Even like just the way it opened up, where it's like visit an ancient family who dispelled evil. I was like, all right, cool, we're doing something important.
yeah, we're doing like actual plot related stuff because uh the whole idea about this is that they apparently have some connection to witches, this family that they're going to visit, and some kind of heirlooms they passed down, and Nico's mother thinks that okay, if we talk to them, they might just give them something to help fight warlocks.
Which interestingly, well, actually, no, we'll get to that near the end.
Yeah,
Never mind. I'll
yeah,
say it again.
yeah, which is interesting because we haven't really touched on the warlocks since like the arc where we had Kago Wolf Boy move in.
Yep. So we're finally getting back to those guys.
Yeah,
And everyone's treating this like a summer vacation,
which
which
it
I mean, fair
is.
enough.
Yeah, it is, and they're like, "Hey, yeah, we can invite Nemu along. We could go book catching. We could make an info." And yeah, it is a vacation now, and I love that they actually brought up like, yeah, the reason why they've invited Nemu is because yeah, one girl and three boys on a trip that's asking for trouble, and yeah, they're like, you do recall we lived together.
I know that was like one of my favorite jokes here because I'm like, Nico, you can't actually be nervous about that.
I know,
You
I
literally
know,
live with them.
no.
And then
And
there was some weird
also as well,
foreshadowing about bikinis or whatever, but yeah.
yeah, there is, and also what the craziest thing about this chapter is, Keigo has a smile.
Yeah, he's like really in a. I
I
like how
know,
they're showing he's in a really good place right now.
I know. Well, if he's in a really good place, oh my god, oh my word. Can you imagine what Wolf's feet is thinking right now?
Oh, that's true. He is like watching all this.
Yeah, so he's like, okay, great, I've got Nemu here right now.
Yeah, he can be like, okay, maybe she'll let me out so I can do some training or something.
Yeah,
Could
yeah,
be.
which it's probably going to happen considering what happens at the end. That's probably what's going to happen. So we have them arriving at this family house where we have this, where we have Red from Control Chaos's favorite type of character, the femboy.
Yep. I definitely fell for this one. This is what's his name?
What's
Miharu. Yeah,
Niharu?
so
Yeah, Miharu.
my thing with this Miharu is I feel like he did kind of take away from the chapter a bit for me because his whole gag was like a little worn down even in just this one chapter. Because at first I found it kind of hilarious. Like we have a character who's super blunt, and then at some point we'll be like, "Oh, excuse me, I beg your pardon," and it's like, okay, I kind of get it. He's like a spoiled kid who just speaks his mind
Yeah,
and probably
I
gets away with a lot.
I kind of got Chelsea from Doctor Stone vibes with him. It's like, yeah, just speaks his mind without like any restraints whatsoever.
Yeah, but Chelsea's way of speaking and her design is just way more fun. Miyaru is like got a little on my nerves, not because like he was too annoying, but just because they kept bringing up the same joke again of like he said like three different times how they were like servants, and then like once three different times about like how Nico and Moy are probably dating.
Yeah,
So I'm just thinking to myself, wait a minute. First of all, you said you did your research on these guys. That's how you know their names. But your clear research is clearly flawed.
yeah, I know, I know.
I don't know. He's like supposed
But
to be a third year middle school student, but also like super smart. I don't know. I find it weird how manga portrays middle schoolers sometimes.
no, I know. Um, but I want to go back to pages four and
Yeah.
five and what Keiko says. The fact that he brought up she has three familiars and a witch. Yeah, that's pretty much indicating like Nemu is joining the family. Nemu is joining the family. I would honestly love it if Nemu became Nico's fourth familiar.
Yeah, which again, I don't know how that works because they're witches, but then we don't know enough about witch
Well,
society.
actually,
If
well, yeah, because I don't think there's any rule that a witch can't be a familiar herself because technically, Nemu could turn
a
into
cat, yeah.
a cat, so a cat
I
can
mean,
be a
it kind of
familiar.
works, but then I don't understand how these rules work, so I'm just gonna.
Yeah. Um. So yeah. So we have them saying that it's their first vacation together. So we have Miru saying, "I assume the other three have wound up unfortunate third through fifth
Through
wheel."
fifth wheels. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
hilarious.
yeah, and they're like, "You don't have to make this awkward."
Yeah,
Before.
but he just keeps doing that throughout this chapter. Which again, I think there's just one gag that just didn't resonate with me too well. So I think that's why this chapter didn't hit too hard. At
Yeah,
least the beginning half.
yeah, but also I want also again just going back to Nemu on pages 8 and 9. Like he goes,
Uh-huh.
we have Miru going. I mean, 3 high school boys and a high school girl. I'm not sure. I'm sure nothing's going on. Of course, like you see it. Everyone else is like, well, you only see Moe's face, but like she's looking right down, and I bet she's probably thinking like he didn't have to bring up he didn't have to bring up the fact that I'm not part of this family. So again, that might be subtle, but I think it's probably her thinking like, I wish I could be with part of this family more.
Yeah, I can see you really like this chapter because it's just more hints than Emma will join.
Yeah. Also, as well, I've just noticed something about Nemu's design. If you look at
Yeah, what's that?
if you look at her hair, like her hair splits off, and it makes the same the it makes the forehead makes the same shape as it does when she's in her cat form.
Ah, yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
you're right.
I
I thought
honestly
you were
didn't.
gonna point out the bow tie or something, and that looks like cat ears. But yeah,
No, I was like, I only just noticed that myself. It's like, okay, that's quite a nice touch there.
yeah. Shinohara is really good with the design
Yeah,
art details.
and of
And
course,
speaking of which, I then we have
yeah,
like the dad who's like super scary,
super scary, but then is like, but then
but he's a nice dude.
looks like Aisawa from My Hero. Like
Yeah, kind of.
just in terms of the way he looks, and that like he goes from super scary to like, I am so bored right now. So we have so basically the whole reason behind why the Kiru family are doing this is because Nico's mother did them a large favor, so they kind of owe a one, and it turns out that he is basically a demon slayer. Since we were talking about demon slayer before, so
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Actually, that is a good point. That is very
surprised.
pertinent.
I'm surprised they didn't bring up a demon slayer reference in this chapter.
I mean, to fair, there's a lot of Exorcist manga that could reference a lot of things.
Yeah. So he's basically a Futoshimi, who swings holy swords that can harm demons. And he's talking about low level yokai and the like. That cause trouble by playing pranks and possessing people, which that is going to come back in this arc at some point.
Yeah, I hope so because it's like a nice tiny expansion in the world that we have Exorcists now.
Yeah, I think we're going to
And I do
get
like
like
when fantasy stories do that.
yeah, I think we're gonna get like all different kinds of like we're gonna get the whole range of different like um fantasy like supernatural beings and like people that combat them. So like we've got the exorcists, we've got the warlocks, we've got witches, ogres. We're gonna get them all at some point. The only thing that's missing
Yeah.
the only thing that's missing is zombies.
So basically, that just kind of confirmed the fact that the team's here to get some weapons to fight. Uh, Although I do want to bring up, it might only be a little too obvious, but I'm wondering if the family here had set up a trap for them.
I think it,
That's
I think it's
because
obvious.
as what happens next is that we get to see like our characters like literally like go next to like a river
Yeah,
on page 12 and then like they wave to a fisherman and it's like oh yeah you guys can go chill out there and I'm thinking to
yeah.
myself this seems suspicious.
This seems way too suspicious. Yeah. So maybe they're in we'll get to it. We'll get to it at the end of the chapter. So
Yeah,
we
okay,
have
we'll
them.
talk about that later.
We have them going down to the river. And we get fan service from all angles. So we get fan service for the men, fan service for the females.
Yep, and even those who are outside the spectrum probably got something.
Yeah. Yeah,
I will say though myself.
I'll just say, like me, I'm outside of the spectrum. I identify as asexual, but I've got to admit, Nemu, cute in that bikini.
She is cute. But I will say, I reading this chapter, I don't know if this is just me finally feeling my age recently, but I have to say when I'm seeing them in their bikinis, I was just thinking of them as like, little kids going to the beach because they really do look like children. And I guess I do have to applaud Shinohara for having these kids look like kids. Because in most manga, you'll have like 16-year-olds or 17-year-olds or even 14-year-olds sometimes who look like they're full grown adults. And I'm like, that, okay, fine.
Well,
It's a manga. I'll
actually,
accept it.
how old is Nico?
Oh, I think
The-
she's 16. I don't know the exact age. They just know they're in high school. They
Which
started high school. And
which
in
watch?
Japan, I think high school well, there starts around 15, 16.
Uh,
So I'm assuming by now about 16 because it's like
yeah,
summer break. So they went there
yeah.
like a year.
How how old is Nico in Witch Watch? Yeah, it doesn't say. It doesn't say how old she is. So she might be.
Well, okay, she's a teenager. All the same, she's in high school.
Yeah, yeah. So maybe
So
she's
I do like how they look
16,
like
7.
kids.
Yeah, 16, 17. Like I think from looking at it, I think Nemu might be 16. Moe and Keigo are probably 16 themselves.
Yeah, so they're about that age.
Yeah, yeah,
That's all I just want to bring up with the design. I think like there are other series that do a lot of fan service, but this one, well, you can, yep, I can definitely call this one fan service. I would also say it at least feels a lot more tasteful than most.
yeah, definitely.
And I did like the joke where um, Nico says it's like, oh, excuse me, you're not just staring at Nemu, are
Yeah,
you?
yeah.
And I'm just thinking to myself, oh man, that would be kind of sad. Because it's
Oh, right.
hilarious. They're not like really like perving out on them or anything. It's just they're saying it's just really embarrassing to see them like this,
Yeah,
which I guess that's fair because they probably see these characters like family, well, minus like the ships that are already established.
I know.
But
Yeah.
so
But going back to what we were saying earlier about Nemo, like she could be both. That would be a really interesting twist if she became, if she joined the house and she was like, okay, I'm gonna be Mo. I'm gonna be Nico's familiar, but Mo is also gonna be my familiar as well.
again, I don't understand how familiars work, so we'll get to that when we get to
Yeah,
that.
we get to that. So we have them just chilling out, and
Basically,
of
just
course,
like a beach episode, effectively.
yeah, and of course, even Nemu, despite how shy she is, she can't get away from chuckling a little bit
Yeah, that was like
herself.
a really cute panel of her. I love that.
Yeah,
And then Moy is just starting to relax a bit, which is also nice. But then, of course, it's then the serious things have to go wrong eventually.
yeah.
But for
Well,
once, it wasn't going to go wrong to being something really funny and comedic. It was actually starting to get serious.
yeah. So we have them basically chilling out, but then Nico senses something, and she thinks it's Khan tugging at her feet, but he's like, no, I'm not. And then we have Nemu thinking that Keigo's touching her legs, but it's like, nope, that's not me. And then everyone realizes, like, yeah, the war is actually clinging to them. Before we realize that it's actually a warlock that's causing all of this, and the alert only detects warlocks within a 200-meter radius, and if they had some way of sending a spell at them from far away, before we realize that it's actually the fisherman whose name is Rio Hifuchi, the water warlock.
Yeah. So for Rio, hey, I it seems like already based on the way he talks, I guess we're supposed to get like that he's kind of like anxious, creepy kind of character.
Yeah,
He says he's a water warlock, so he kind of the fact that this environment was so optimal for him has me thinking that this was like a trap setup, which
yeah,
also getting to like what we had in the very beginning of the chapter when Nico's mom sent him a message or sent him a letter. Uh, I think that was part of the trap. I don't know if she was fed misinformation or
or it might
if
it might have not been Nico's mother. It might have just been them uh the my Huri family that sent that letter.
yeah, my
Yeah,
Oh, Mahir's. Yeah, I forgot. That's Kiryu, I
yeah,
think, is that they're called.
Kuru. Yeah, yeah. It
Kiryu, yeah,
might.
the Kiryu
Yeah,
family probably did that, but we'll see. I mean, it could be. I'm wondering how they're going to choose to fight because, of course, the way Witch Watch works, for those who've been reading this series, is we have all those gag chapters from before, all these new spells that Nico's learned, and then she's going to find a way to make use of them. And, I'm thinking back to like all those different spells, and I'm wondering which one of them could help them
the
out.
actually the one that could help them out is the slow speed spell that she used.
I was thinking about that one, but how? I'm wondering how she can implement it.
Mm.
I'm not sure because, like, I'm
Oh
thinking.
no, no, actually, I thought about it. Like she could use it on them, but like in a reverse, because you know how quick uh Ken was actually walking in those chapters as well. Like maybe she could use like a reverse of the spell.
Hmm, yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I'm very interested to see how those spells come into effect. That's like always like something I look forward to these arcs, and then I want to know more about the warlocks and the Kiryu family. So there's a lot to look forward to
Yeah.
in
Do you
this
think?
arc.
Yeah. Do you think we're gonna get like all the elemental warlocks in this arc?
Oh, that would be an interesting. That would be a good way to go about doing this. Beat up water, one fire. Because I don't know if you commented on like a Shonen OG's recent video about a character. I know you don't read even zero, to my knowledge, but he talked about what character who uses like water, and he mentioned previous characters we've had Wind, who's also part of the team. So I made a joke in his comment section. It's like, okay, now we just need to recruit fire and earth.
Yeah. So that's
So
probably what might actually happen in like if this is going to be like the Warlock arc.
yeah, the Elemental Warlock arc. I hope that this arc gets us closer to like what the Warlocks are all about. And like, I mean, we know why they're after Nico, but I want to know like a little more information about them, like their
Yeah, Ma-
organization.
maybe it has something to do with Nico's mother because he says I've been waiting for this chance for a long time.
The thing is, I was always wondering if Nico's father had anything to do with this because he just kind of disappeared from the picture at some point.
That is actually a good point. Because
Because the if I don't know if you remember, but the chapter that was even mentioned with him, Nico used some kind of like really crazy magic. Their house got destroyed a bit, and so then Nico's and then a little after they got divorced. So I was always wondering, I wonder if there's more to that divorce than Nico is aware of, because the fact that they're targeting Nico specifically always makes me think that like how did they learn about her? And so Nico's dad, in my opinion, like my big theory, I don't know if I ever shared it, is that he's going to be someone they have to confront.
yeah, I was actually thinking that as well for a long time. So yeah, that'll be interesting to see if Nico's father ever does come into the picture.
hmm I think that'll be really cool if he comes in
Yeah.
because
Well,
like that would help raise the stakes a lot.
yeah, or we get like have we met Kate? Have we met like Moe Moe's mother as well? Have we met him like
Her, I
her
don't
mother?
think so. We met
Yeah,
like Keiko's mom, and
we've
we never
met
met any of Kanishi's parents. Or and we know that Nico's Nemu's mom is like some kind of elite witch.
yeah. Um maybe Nemu's mom will be like an enemy at some point, or like
I
Nemu's
do hope, yeah, Nemu's family comes into play because I feel like the fact that if this is going to be the arc where she joins in, because remember the arc where Keiko joined in, that was like he was the enemy, and then they had to fight him, and then he became their friend.
yeah
Typical shonen stuff. So Nemu, like if she has to come into conflict with her family, that would kind of fit because we don't know what the Exorcist connection with witches are at this point. It was in the letter that they received. So if there's a connection between them, I was thinking if this is a Nemu arc, because I was thinking along the same lines you were, maybe the connection has to go back to Nemu's
yeah
family, which would
just
suggest that maybe Nemu's mom is part of this stupid trap that was
yeah
set up.
Just bear with me one second. I just need to go and see to something quickly. I'll be back in 2 seconds.
Okay, I'll just keep talking in the
Yeah,
meantime. So yeah, Witch Watch, if for anyone who's read Shinohara's previous stories, it typically does have like some light elements and feeds into dark elements. Witch Watch's particular structure seems to be that we have like condensed arcs slash rows of chapters with those serious elements, at least compared to like how we did in the beginning, where we kind of went back and forth a bit. So now I think that the next couple chapters will just be Nico using those spells that we've been seeing and making use of them. The one thing I will also add is we've seen some chapters with the student council, as the student council themselves seem to be like very emphasized as important characters. But I'm not sure how they could possibly play a role in this particular arc. So I thought they would be in this arc, but I'm not seeing it right now. Maybe they'll still come into play later on. But, they're all the way in the mountains, and I don't know why they would be connected to any of this stuff. So maybe the student council will just be for a future arc down the line. But I definitely think otherwise Nemu's, as Luke said, is going to be important character moments here. And that suggests that maybe her family and like her elite mom, whatever that means, is involved with all this. Which would be great to see some character development for Nemu. I think a lot of the other characters spent a lot of time with Nemu. We haven't spent as much time with up to now.
Yeah, and I'm back now. Yeah.
Yep. Cool.
What I was going to say was you mentioned the student council at that point. Doesn't Rio kind of look like the student council president a little bit?
Wait, Ryu?
Ryu, the water warlock.
Oh, okay. Let me just pull him back. Yeah, kinda. You think that their family might be connected to the warlocks?
Yeah, I'm gonna just quickly look back and see which chapter.
Because the weird thing is, we met his sister.
Yeah, so let's have a look. Okay, so chapter 38. Let's look at the. Yeah, he does kind of look like it. Yeah, he does look like him, and say is it the same color hair as well?
I mean, it's manga, it's black and white, so fun, probably.
Yes, yeah, he is blonde. They're both blondes. Yeah, they
Yeah,
do.
I always find it weird that, wait, actually, also, while we're at it, I'm going to try to find the chapter with his sister in it, because I really didn't think they looked all that much alike.
I think that's chapter 31 with the sister.
Nope, chapter 32, but close. Yeah, like she looks very different.
Yeah. So I think that the student council
Kiyomiya. Oh wait, no. But the last name is Kiyomiya.
Yeah. So I think they're gonna be like kind of like cousin. Like if they're related, they've got to be cousins or something.
If there's a connection, I mean, we're trying to draw on straws here. So, I mean, I can see it. If it happens, it'll be nice because I've been expecting that connection. But if it doesn't, that's fine. They could be saved for a future arc down the line.
Yeah. So Witch Watch, very good chapter. Really enjoy it, and really looking forward to seeing how this fight with the Water Warlock actually plays out.
Yep, been waiting for a serious arc for a while, and now we're getting it.
Yeah.
So I think you said your other possible candidate for chapter of the week was Yozakura. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, we can talk about Yozakura because let me just get it up quickly. Mission Yozakura, and we get I think the first we've got to talk about is the actual. I'm bringing it up now. The popularity poll results.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
I mean, we kind of predicted the first one. That's to be expected.
That's to be expected. Tayo at number 3. I thought it would have been a showing for the number 2 spot.
Yeah, so did I. But number 3 is not too bad a position considering that Kengo's number 2.
Yeah. Let me go down to it quickly.
I'm a little sad that my guy Sosuke didn't make it, but that's okay. I'm probably one of the few people who actually like him.
So. Right. Where is it? Where is it? because I did put it in a tweet and reply.
The
Yeah,
other
yeah,
interesting thing is that Yozakura's like voting numbers are actually relatively small when you think about it. Because
yeah.
even
I
the
know.
first place, everything in the first three are just like 2,000 votes. So it's just one of those reminders of the series, I guess. And I think this was
Uh,
like the online poll, right? That we
yeah,
voted on.
yeah. It
Yeah.
was
So I mean, it just kind of goes to show that between Japan and I guess the international fans who went through the website, it's still like a fairly small fan base compared to like the really big series.
fairly small fan
We,
base, but that's just the way we like it.
hmm
Yeah.
So
So we have number 4 is Shinzo. Number 5 is Futaba. Excellent.
yeah,
Number
we
six,
expected her top five.
yeah, top 5. Number 6, Korichiro. That's I.
I'm kind of
Despite,
glad he was six because I was wondering if he was like popular enough to really get in the
yeah,
top five, but I figured he was still popular enough to be in top 10. So that's like the
yeah.
perfect place.
I love the fact that Sacred Hero on Twitter was like Korichiro and especially Koro Yuri got snuffed. No, got snubbed, but no, he didn't. Korichiro number 6. That's pretty. That's pretty. He ranks higher than Mutsumi.
Yeah, I think, like I said, he's popular enough that he can be up there in the top 10, but he's also kind of comes off as like super creepy. So of
Yeah,
course, like he's gonna like be a little like lower
yeah.
down.
So we
It's like
have
how Gauch from like Black Clover, he'll be in like the top 10 polls, but he's like not in the top five from what I remember.
thank God for that. Like
But
I
he's
could,
still very popular because we all know he's a really good character, right, Luke?
I could stomach him being in the top 10 if he got any higher. Then no.
I actually, I'm actually maybe gonna just look at Black Clover polls while we're talking,
Yeah,
just to confirm
yeah.
it.
Like just my hatred for Gouge will never die. Anyway, Mutsumi
Yeah,
is
I'm just
number
looking.
7. Oh, I'm just trying to think. Oh, what's the name of this guy again? Who's at number
Oh
8?
yeah, that character. I've seen in Sacred Heroes, like Twitter, who's a mutual of ours. He like does really like this character, but I kind of really forgot about him a lot since he wasn't involved much in the later chapters. He was a
Yeah.
big deal in the early parts of the story, but it's been so long since we've really seen him.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, oh, I'm just gonna look him up. Like, what his name actually is.
Okay.
Uh,
I think the remaining characters were like Nanao
and
and number 10. And I'm glad
I
I actually managed to make it. I
yes,
wasn't sure, but
yes.
because she was like a newer edition and I forgot when this poll started. But yeah, I'm glad she got in. But other than that one guy you're looking up, everyone else was basically a Yozakura family member.
Yeah. Uh,
So, I mean, it's just kind of how it is. The Yozakura family members are going to be the most popular.
and before anyone comments, well, I's not a Yosako member. Yes, she is. Do not disrespect her. Oh,
Well, I mean, we've had this discussion a couple times. I mean, she's
yeah,
definitely a member of the household, but I'm not sure if I could go as far as the family just because of her own personal stuff. But that's neither here nor there.
yeah. Sui Io. That was his name.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Yeah,
I mean, good for him that he managed to even outrank some Yozakura members. I just really don't remember him that
yeah.
much
And
because, like,
and
go
then
on.
it's surprising how we get number 30 has only got 40 votes. But the thing that
Okay,
actually
yeah. So I confirmed in the latest Black Clover popularity poll, which was like in March. Yeah, Gauch was at the number six, just like Kyochiro. So yeah, that's just like the safe spot for the
okay.
syscons. Not
I will
popular enough to be like, okay, we can't advocate this, but if they're still like a decent character, they get up there.
Yeah. And then we have on Twitter the other like 30 rankings. So we have Goliath at
Oh, they
number
do?
11. Yeah, yeah, we have Goliath at number 11.
Nice.
I'll post it to you now quickly so that
Yeah, yeah, cool. Thanks.
you can look at it.
Okay, I got the link. Let me just open it.
Yeah.
Because
So we
again,
have
I just read the chapters. I did not have time to look up all this stuff. All right, so let's see. Yeah, we have Goliath at 11. And
I
then we have that's the
Ayaki,
maid.
yeah, yeah, Ayaki at number 12, which
Nice.
uh
You were
that
wondering if she would get in the top 10. I didn't think so, but yeah, 12 makes sense.
yeah,
And Bond, we were
but
debating if she would get there, which
yeah,
was 13.
yeah.
And yeah, so Skay's at 14. You know, I'll take that. I'll take top 15.
Okay, yeah, the guy that nobody pays attention to is now at
But
number
that's
4.
what's awesome about his character. He's like
But
literally the background character, the character, and he's like living that.
yeah,
And
but
it's
you want
fun.
to know what's crazy?
He number 16 being that USA like fanfic made
No, not
character.
her, not
Yeah,
not
that's
her.
great.
Rin
Oh,
Rin at Rin at 24.
let me go 24. Oh, wait, why is that crazy?
I just thought she would because she's had quite a few moments recently. I think her most
Did
recent
she?
moment was when she brought Ai to the Yosakura family.
Yeah, but I mean, she's like a supporting character in most. I mean, I will admit, I think
I
she
would have
had more moments than some of these, than what you call them, the other guy at number 8. What was his name?
Sui.
Sui. Yeah, I think she had more written more moments than Sui, but I don't know. Rin is not a character I think too much about, so I'm
All
not
right.
too surprised. I don't even know what 23 is. That's like a snowman. Who? Oh, the Shota kid made top 20. Good for him.
Oh yeah, yeah, which is
I
something.
actually like him. I really liked his story.
Yeah,
I wish
but
he ranked a little higher, but that's
but
fine.
who doesn't like who probably doesn't like that Sacred Hero because he said that chapter that chapter with him and Shino was probably the weakest chapter for him of the series.
I mean, I kind of get that, depending on what you read Yozakura for, but I mean, the fact that Shion made number 1, I mean, it's chapters like that that got her there.
Hmm.
Uh, let's see. And then who's 26? I don't recognize that guy.
26, 26. Oh, that's let me because I had it up. That's Oga Inugami, basically the partner of Sue, like the
Oh
one
wow,
with the
that's kind of
chain,
sad.
the
He's
one with
at
the
26.
chains,
Well,
the one with the chain,
silly.
the chains that that guy had came in at
Yeah,
number.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you remember. Yeah,
But that's kind of sad. He's all at 26. Well, his partner's at 8. And then who's 27? The mom,
I
I
think.
think.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. 27's the mom. Yeah.
Okay, well, hey, she ranked. That's nice, at least. I'm 29. I'm a little surprised about because I thought he would rank higher.
Oh
He was
yeah,
a cool
definitely.
character.
Uh, so yeah, pretty
Yeah, then
interesting.
they have like listed up to 40, but I can't read
Yeah,
Japanese,
we
so I don't
can't
know
we
what
can't read
number.
that. I'm surprised the doctor wasn't like a bit higher. And Tsubumi, like I'm surprised they weren't a bit higher. But it's crazy how they're back to back.
Um.
Like the 19 and 18. Like
Oh yeah, there they
Tsubumi
are.
and
I see him.
yeah, yeah, so
Yeah, I mean, again, you would think they would at least outrank the random USA fan character that
yeah.
showed up one time. Man, Japan really liked her. I'm just saying.
Well, 5 more people really
Well, then
liked
again,
her.
I guess I was saying this was an online poll, so maybe the international fans were like, "We got to
Maybe,
get that USA representation up there."
maybe, maybe.
Wait, who's 15? By the way, I think is.
Who's 15? I can't.
Oh, no, no, I know him. He's that one like bisexual guy who was hitting
Oh,
on Tayo.
oh
Like,
right.
he
Oh
was
yeah,
there for
yeah.
like one chapter and
Yeah,
he's
I
ranked 15.
Well, I guess a lot of LGBT people voted.
I guess so. Um, I mean, I didn't hate his character. He was fun, but again, like 15, 16, these were like one-off characters. Even like 17, she had like a whole character arc that was so touching, and she's ranked 17.
I
It's
know.
like, and like, I mean, some of those like villains that we saw in like the last arc, I mean, a lot of them ranked, but they are ranked very low, surprisingly, despite having like very like fleshed out characters.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
Super
surprised,
weird. And of course,
but
like our main villain is 19, so I mean, go figure.
no, you. I know, and we'll be getting into talking about her in the chapter. So I think we should um,
Oh yeah, go into that.
go into the
Yeah,
chapter. So yeah, I think the reason why this again was kind of much it's just the building of the lore of the Yosakura family. So I guess we could just call this arc the head of the Yosakura family arcs.
um, yeah, I guess so. That I mean, I want to think of a more elegant name for it, but yeah, that's
Or the
effectively what's
or
happening.
the Yosakura head arcs.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah,
the
let's go with that.
Yosuko,
By the way, we have like we're still getting these bots popping up. I don't know what's
oh,
up with that.
let me sort that. Yeah, we'll just block. Bots go away. If only we had it's times like this I wish we had Shino as a real person.
If
Yeah,
only Shino was in real life.
yeah.
Life would be better.
So yeah, we have basically another location that belongs to the Yosakura family, the Yosakura Silk Mill, which is basically where they've been able to pick up Simone emissions from Momo. I'm surprised Momo didn't. Did Momo? Yeah, Momo didn't rank. I'm surprised Momo didn't rank at all.
Oh, we just. Oh, yeah. He had to have been on the poll. That is.
Yeah,
Well, he maybe is in one of those like 30 to 40 that we
yeah,
can't read in
yeah, but
Japanese, but it is super weird. But then
yeah,
again, when did. Oh, no, 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 because this had to still have been with the train. Yeah, no, 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 that's just weird. Man, I don't think people like the villains in this series, which is too bad.
I know. Well, to
Japan
be
just
fair,
really doesn't respect villains enough. I'm just saying.
David and Furman think the villains in Mission Yosakura are a bit weak themselves.
I mean, I think that like I said with the train antagonist, I know I'm forgetting her name, so that says something. But
The White
I
Snake,
really liked her
that was
story, and even the other antagonists we fought, they were a little like repetitive in how they structured it. But I thought that the story that they had were pretty good in general. Like
yeah.
they weren't the greatest villains, but I thought they were at
But
least decent.
yeah, but I think this is going to be even better because it's like it seems to be setting up that the villains now are going to be the previous head of the previous heads of the
Yep.
Yosakura family. So we have basically the Yosakura Silk Mill. We have Keigo, Shinzo, Futaba, and Tayu going into this mill because it remains in operation to this day, raising silkworms, which could actually tie back to the train lady because wasn't her whole thing to do with silk?
I thought she just had like magic hair. I don't think it had anything to do with silk.
Uh, Let me temple.
You can look that on up. I'll just keep going. In the meantime, we have like Shion and now basically on the computers, like monitoring, and like Kyotaro is taking care of Mutsumi because she's feeling sick. Which at first, when I read this chapter, I was like, okay, wait, why are they just sidelining this character? He's like their big muscle. Like, is he just keeping an eye on her? Are they going to face somebody so strong, so they didn't want to have the strongest character out there? And to some extent, that's probably true. But based on stuff that happens later, there might be more reason to it. I think that we're gonna get something like pretty big with his character. I think based on some events that happen.
Yeah.
Um,
Also, as well,
and
I found
oh,
the
you found it?
character. I found the character Yuki. That was her name. Um.
Yuki. I
So
forget
yeah.
that name.
Yeah. It was just hair control. So yeah. No,
Yeah,
nothing to do
that's
with
what I
silk.
figured.
Yeah. But yeah.
Then we get the
Basically,
fifth head.
yeah. We get the fifth head. Who
Five.
this is what I'm loving about this arc so far is that we see it seems that each of the previous heads of the Yosakura family uh, have some resemblance to the current generation of Yosakura. So like we had the second head who resembled Futaba. Now we have the fifth head who resembles Kengo.
Yeah, and and you're on the Viz website right now. There's a
Yeah,
good comment on this chapter. Someone left where they're like, okay, so the second head resembled the second child, while the fifth head resembles the fifth child. If we follow this pattern, we can probably figure out how some of these other heads
yeah.
are going to look like.
So
Which I thought
basically,
that was actually pretty
so
cool.
basically, are we trying to imply that Tsubumi resembles Koricho?
I mean, the way they phrased it in their theory, they're just trying to say that, like, for Kyuchiro and Nanao, there might just be, like, some heads down the line, like 6 and 7. But, like, the 3 and 4 are going to probably look like Shinzo and Shion. I forgot who's older, but whoever's one of those two in whatever order they were born.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So,
So I think that's actually like a pretty decent idea. Um, but
but it's
yeah, it looks like this is basically just like another version of Kango, which, I think it's kind of a fun idea, just like your ancestors who like you, but it kind of has mirror battle effect without feeling too cliche.
yeah. So this Keigo fifth head is Lady Steward Itsua. Kind of weird that it's not
Yozakura.
Yosakura.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Which that
I
could
mean,
that could open up so many possibilities. She she wasn't born into the Yosakura family. She was kind of adopted. That could that could be something
well,
that
I mean, she has to have like if she was the head and her children passed on the next generation, she needs to be able to pass on that so mean blood or something.
mm, well, maybe she could have had the blood injected into her.
Maybe it
Because
feels like it definitely feels like something's different about her
yeah,
as a family member. So I think we'll get more into that later down the line. This arc.
yeah. So basically, she has a level of narcissism from in the style of Kengo to the point that she was known for her flamboyance, and her dying wish was that her body to be preserved in a beautiful display. But as we all know from reading the recent chapters, they are not dead.
Nope. And
No.
this chapter kind of gets into that a little bit more.
Yeah. So
Uh, yeah, good.
we have we have the group staring down Lady Steward before they are attacked themselves. We have Shinzo using Mitsusha water. No, that's Futaba using Mitsusha water. Is it meant to be?
Yeah, basically they just use their blossoms to defend against the attack.
Yeah, yeah. Um, and and we have Lady Steward coming to life and basically saying, "How nice to be able to meet my adorable descendants, but I must say I am not appropriately dressed for you." I like to think that her voice is just more like, "How nice to be able to meet my adorable descendants, but I must say I'm not appropriately dressed for the occasion."
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, and then they're all like, "Huh?"
Yep,
Yeah,
they're like
it,
it talks.
yeah. I could okay. That would have been weird if Futaba did that because it's like, yeah, you've kind of already seen this with the second head Futaba, but no, the fact that Kango said it, yeah,
Yeah,
that does make sense. So so it turns out that
actually, I just thought of
yeah,
something.
go
This
ahead.
head, this head that we're fighting right now looks like Kango, and last chapter was like a Kango chapter. I wonder if before we fight each head, it will fight like family, or we'll not fight, but we'll get insight into the character that they resemble to
Yeah,
kind of like help hit the emotional notes of the next
yeah.
head.
Well, did we get a Futaba chapter before we fought
A good question. Let
let me
us check.
No,
Uh,
it was it, well, we kind of did and we didn't because we got
oh yeah, wait, wasn't it the Futaba Shinzo chapter? The Shion chapter, sorry? Wait, no, no.
no,
Uh,
the chapter before that was it was the Musume's day of trade Musume's uh
Day of Training, yeah. But I
yeah.
mean, okay, so it wasn't exactly after, but 2 chapters ago we got some insight, so maybe it'll follow.
Yeah,
Either
yeah.
way, it's
Yeah,
just a possibility I thought of.
yeah, we got that. Yeah, we got that at chapter 104 and then we had 106 which started that scuffle with the second head. So yeah.
And to be fair, we did kind of continue on with her arc, with her talk with Kengo. So, I mean, I think maybe with each head we'll like start to expand each character.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. I could
I think
definitely
that's
see
a
that.
smart way to go about it.
Yeah. So anyway, back to the chapter. We have Lady Steward giving them a warm welcome, or as warm as a Yosuke family member can give. Um,
Father zombies, yep.
yeah. Um, before she mentions that the castle, this castle, or uh, this silk mill, but as she calls it, a castle, is already cursed by Subumi herself, as we see like bones sort of like coming out from the ground, and she mentions something about black cherry blossoms are rooted, and
Yep.
they're evil roots that suck people. So this is this again I love, because it's kind of giving a lore into like how this whole like cherry blossom blooming thing actually works as well.
Yep. And we see the bones are working. And then skipping to the next page, well, one, I want to say that like what Sabumi is doing here gave me major Voldemort vibes, where like these black cherry blossom roots are effectively just Horcruxes. She's using like these things
Yeah,
to keep herself alive and young. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is basically just Horcruxes.
yeah,
It's just
yeah.
fine, but it's also just hilarious. And the other
It,
thing is this, oh, sorry.
I was gonna say, do you think the like these black cherry blossoms are like all over the world? They're not just in Japan.
Based on the picture, no, I think it's just Japan.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. But
But
yeah,
good idea. But I think for now, the story wants to stay in Japan. And what I was
well,
gonna say was what. Oh, sorry, were you gonna say more?
no, I was gonna say, okay, go ahead.
Oh, okay, got it. So what I, though this wasn't my chapter of the week, it was still pretty up there because this chapter and this page specifically answers the question that we've been wondering: why do these heads of the family have powers when they're not supposed to have powers? Well, now we know. Apparently, these black cherry blossoms are giving them powers they didn't have in their previous life. They're awakening abilities that were dormant in them. In
Yeah.
other words, they didn't have abilities. It's just that the black cherry blossom is bringing out blatant things that they couldn't use because they were the heads of the family.
Oh my god, I've just thought about something. Would it be so creepy if that in order for the heads of the Osakura family to get these powers, like it has to be kind of like the Philosopher's Stone from Malcolm. It's like it has to be you have to sacrifice people's lives in order to achieve it.
Well, you do. That's what this chapter
Oh yeah.
says.
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what's
At
happening.
at,
It's
ti-
really creepy and awesome.
at times they are but thin, soft roots that gently so. Oh yeah, of course, yeah. That.
That's what the bones are for, and that's why we saw bones here
Oh
and
yeah.
back at the mansion.
So this begs the question. This begs. Well, we'll get into it at the end. It's involves Mitsumi herself.
Oh yeah, that I definitely want to talk about.
Yeah.
But
Um.
yep. So I'm glad we finally got answers to this because
Yeah.
most stories might not either give a good answer or just doesn't answer in a while. This one I think is a fairly
I actually. Yeah. It kind of gives Voldemort fight, but it kind of gives like vibes of Have you ever seen the film Tangled?
I have, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the mother witch in Tangled, like the film, like the one
yeah,
that
yeah. I remember.
kidnaps Rapunzel. Like it kind of gives me vibes like that as well.
Oh wait. Oh, you mean like by like the end where Subumi's
Like
like using her.
no, like in Tangled, how there was like that flower that made the witch younger. It's kind of giving me
Mhm.
that. It's kind of giving me vibes like this. Like the roots are kind of like keeping her alive and keeping her younger.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, yeah. I see what you mean. Yep,
Yeah.
that does make sense.
Yeah, and also this kind of like might actually go into a plan, like get uh get all the heads together, get all the heads together so that they're all like to kind of fight the current generation of Yosakuras, so that she could potentially steal their blooming. Like that might actually be what might actually happen. Like they might actually able to steal the bloomings of all the Yosakura kids that are alive today.
Huh. Maybe. Could be. I am wondering what her plan is involving the first generation, especially with considering what happens in this chapter specifically.
Yeah.
So yeah, I could see that.
So basically, moving on, Lady Stewart says that um, Tsubumi is basically a puppet master for the purpose of protecting her roots, but she has no interest in Tsubumi's fate and would never worship her as Na- Niname does, which makes sense because Niname was kind of like the daughter of Tsubumi, and Lady Stewart is more like the great granddaughter.
Yeah, that's about right. And I think that's kind of what I was saying, what you were talking about earlier, how she feels different than the other Yozakura heads. Like, if she doesn't really care about their ancestor's head, then it's possible that she maybe came from somewhere else outside the family, but I don't know, because she does call Sabumi her ancestor, so. Uh,
Well, I get well
but then
people.
something near the end of the chapter makes me think there might be something more to it, but we'll get
Well,
to that.
here's the thing: people who are still adopted into the family still call them like, oh, they're their ancestor.
Oh, do they? Because I mean,
Yeah,
when I think ancestor, I think like more like blood related stuff. But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. But as we all
that could just
know,
be a translation thing. So,
yeah,
and
but as we all know, family doesn't necessarily have to do with blood sometimes.
true. Also,
Yeah, yeah.
um,
So we basically have Lady
so she's
Stewart,
basically just asking them to destroy her, effectively.
yeah, and they do, and we have all the group doing a combo move, which is ma
Yeah, it's
ma
really cool.
uh ma Majari need you to batch. I cannot pronounce that. Like that.
Midare Ninja Turbulent Rainbow.
Yeah, what you said. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what it actually stands for. I mean, I think Midare Nije, maybe Midare Nije means turbulent rainbow, and that's why they phrase it like that. But because it's like, why else would you have like a mixture of Japanese and English there?
Oh,
But yeah,
or
so good combo move basically. They just want to like get right to her face.
yeah, and she
But
goes on
then
to say that how beautiful and Tayu destroyed most of it. Now it's time to finish her off, but there is something going on wrong with Mutsumi, and
I
they
do
all
like how Shion just called Kyucho a turd out of nowhere.
yeah,
It's
but
fun.
which is this is crazy. It's crazy how there's no reaction from Koricho.
No, but that's the thing. We can't see his face. So I feel like, and that's what I was kind of getting at, that I think this might further into his character. Because right now he's seeing the family member, or even just the person he cares about the most, in very dire straits. And I think that's going to like drive the next part of his story. I don't know if that'll be like in a positive direction or a negative direction, but we'll see depending on how that goes.
Yeah,
Because I think right now where he has like some expression that's being off screened on purpose.
yeah. And we have Matsumi's hair starting to bloom, basically telling Tayu to
Which means
run.
Subumi's like doing some weird takeover thing, but I don't know why. What's she doing? Because like you were saying, she might probably has a plan for these first generations,
Yeah.
and I don't know if
Um.
she's starting it or not.
Yeah. And then we have Subumi coming in behind Lady Stewart, telling her you ought to show more self-control in front of in front of your mother, and them
Yeah,
getting we
and the
get
fact that
tired.
she refers to herself as the mother, despite being the fifth generation, I don't know if that's like, oh, I'm your ancestor kind of thing,
I
or
think
if,
it's
like you were
more.
saying, she directly received her blood. So
Yeah, I think it's more. I think it's more a case of like what I said. Like she directly received her blood, but also I think she's saying like because she's the first one to born the family, she's kind of like the mother of them all.
yeah, I guess you can interpret them either way.
Yeah. But anyway, I was gonna say going back to Mutsumi in this chapter, um, considering that the fact like okay, these heads they obviously have powers now. What do you think Mutsumi's power is gonna be?
Okay. You're saying that this might be because of the black cherry blossoms, that it's
Yeah,
awakening an ability in her. I didn't
yeah.
think about that. Oh, okay. Oh, man, I didn't think about that. Okay, that could be crazy, especially if they have to fight Mutsumi. Oh my God.
Oh no, don't have them fight Mitsumi.
Because
No.
like all these black cherry blossoms, they can't control their abilities. They're
Oh
acting.
yeah. Oh yeah, they can't control it because they're under the control of Subume.
Yeah, and
Oh.
if she did something to affect all the heads, I don't know how, but whatever, blood
Oh.
magic.
Oh. What if she's doing something to Creature right now? And that's why and
oh yeah.
that's why we're not seeing his face. Like she's probably subconsciously doing something to Creature, and
Hmm.
that's why we're not seeing his face.
we'll see what happens next chapter with that. But
Oh,
yeah, right. Anyway, so she's activating. Yeah, she's using her cherry blossoms to awaken ability. That would yeah, would mean Mutsumi would get an ability. Ah man, but I really can't think of what she would be good at in terms of fighting. Maybe something. Oh yeah, you know what? If she had to have something, it would probably have to mirror Tayo, like either like parallel or like opposite. You know.
well, Tayu has hardening. Tayu's
Yeah, so
blooming
maybe
is
if her
hard.
if he is like say ultimate shield, and then she's like ultimate sword,
Yeah, I could see it. Like basically,
sword
oh,
and shield, if you would.
she could have her ability could be similar to Momo's. You know, like how Momo put his hand on Tayu's on
Yeah,
Tayu's
and then he like died.
just just exploded. That could be something similar. Like just puts her hand on someone and they just like fly right back.
Could be. I could see that. And so yeah, what I'm thinking is like right now Kyotaro is he's probably gonna be fine. But I wonder if he's gonna have to fight off Mutsumi. He's not gonna be able to do
Oh
it.
no,
He's
he
gonna
isn't.
get destroyed if
No,
Mutsumi.
and then he's probably going to be like
Wait, I just thought of something, but keep talking.
and then he's probably going to be like fighting Mitsumi. She gets teleported because we know that Tsubumi's abilities can basically make the others teleport um, with the cherry blossoms and everything. So she's gonna teleport to them, and then Koichi's gonna be like, as much as it pains me to say this, Tayu save Mutsumi.
Yep. But I just thought of something. Remember how we were talking about like all the previous chapters, and one of them was like the Mutsumi weight loss thing?
Yeah,
Well, recently, like the chapters, like even the slice of life stuff's been integrated into the story a bit better. Um, and I was at this one was kind of like the one that sticks out from that. But in this chapter, she gained like some weight all of a sudden and then lost it like almost immediately. So a lot of people are just wondering, oh, okay, well, that's fine. Maybe it's just that she just lost her weight by exercising or something. But I can tell you that it's usually not that easy to lose weight. So,
no.
what if this was like the beginnings of her being infected?
Oh right, because at the beginning of the chapter she just seems like, oh, I just have a slight fever, and then literally end of the chapter she's lying in bed.
Yeah, I was trying to remember if in that chapter we were doing like house cleaning, if she was sick at all. I don't think
I
so.
don't think she was. I don't remember her being sick.
Uh, Pulling it back. Yeah, no, I'm not seeing it. So, yep, I think maybe that might have been the beginnings of her being sick. Because it did feel like a bit of a random chapter, but maybe that's the reason. That would
Yeah,
be really cool.
yeah, but yeah, pretty pretty good chapter of Mission Yotsukura, and cannot wait to see if our theories come true about it.
Yep, like I said, it was a good chapter. I think like, and I'm glad we got a lot of the popularity polls correct. I think like the for me like the while I did enjoy this chapter, it to a large extent was just kind of like establishing some story and lore more than anything. And while that was nice because it answered questions, it also like the fight itself wasn't like too interesting. And I think that's kind of why I did like Black Clover a bit more, just because
Okay,
in
fair
this
fair
chapter it
enough.
was just like, oh, I unleash one move, and Tayo has like an immediate counter, or not Tayo, but the siblings have an immediate counter.
Yeah. Okay,
So yeah,
that's fair enough. That's fair enough. Um, so yeah, that was Mission Yotsukura family.
so we have like
So
what Ayakashi and Dr. Stone left.
yeah, Ayakashi and Dr. Stone.
So let's do Ayakashi then.
Yeah,
All right. Uh, just give me a second here. Okay.
yeah. So Ayakashi Triangle.
Yep. So this, I really enjoyed this chapter, to say
I
the
know,
least.
I did as well. Um,
It was a very good chapter.
yeah. So this chapter we have basically Shadowmay after basically throwing herself at Masuri, saying, "Unbelievable to think I'd show this pesky human such an unflattering side of me. Unflattering side of me. You'll see, Matsuri and Suzu. I'm going to destroy you, but I must say, this attire called swimsuit, the tightness isn't bad."
Yep.
But
Oh man.
what I find crazy about this is that despite living for like over 150 years, she really has no concept of the human world itself.
Yeah, as it is right now, which makes sense, but at the same time, it
You
is
figure,
still a very cute attribute.
yeah,
What?
you figure she would have at least known something.
Yeah, yeah, but I guess I have to say, with this chapter and like the last one, I think Shadow is going to be climbing up the ranks of characters pretty soon.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. So
Um,
it's
yeah,
basically
and
the
then we
pool.
have
It's basically
Shadow May, and then we have the mom.
yeah.
I forget her name, but yeah, the mom, Matsu's mom.
Matsui's mom saying like, "Hey, you have free time to use the pool, so basically I have a pool chapter."
Yeah, and I think one of my favorite gags from this, well, actually, I have a lot of gags, I shouldn't say favorite, but one of the running jokes I enjoy is like Lou using water attacks the entire chapter. It's really
Oh
cute. And
my
it just
god.
reminds me of when I was a kid and I would do things like that. Splash the
Oh,
water and just
oh,
pretend I was doing some
oh,
anime move.
oh! I still do that to this day. I, I'll be in the water and I'll be like from digital tidal wave, and just use my hand as like a tidal wave.
Yeah, it is very fun to indulge himself in these things.
Yeah.
So,
Do you- I'm just gonna say right now, if that is not if that's not a reference to what Lucy's power is gonna be,
oh
like
yeah, I was going to say when I read this chapter, I was thinking, oh man, might just be like foreshadowing for her water abilities.
yeah, which means that Yayo has to have fire abilities then, because she's like the more
Oh yeah, that
fiery
actually
one
would
of
fit
them.
very well.
Yeah,
But I they're putting more and more emphasis on them being in the story, which I like. So I think we're definitely going to get to a point where they're going to be story relevant.
yeah. So we have Matsuri and Susu talking, and just remembering the bottle-nosed roller, the little Ayakashi that possessed Yayo. Oh yeah, the one that possessed Yayo before. Um, and Susan saying that exorcism isn't just about using force. Shadowmay is a Jinyu who resents humans. If we can make her actually like humans, maybe we can purge her resentment and she can peacefully merge with me. Yeah, that's not going to happen, Suzu. You've got wishful thinking there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It could happen. This could be the kind of story where the villain gets a change of heart.
Could be, could be. But
Because
I
I mean, they're trying to like emphasize to us that Shadow May is not just a being of pure evil. She just like really hates people, and I mean, I don't blame her.
yeah, yeah, but I'd like it if she just stayed that way. It's like, yeah, I'm not going to change. I'm not going to change. I'm not going to change my stance on humans. Yeah, some humans. I like it to be like, yeah, some humans may be okay, but the majority of them, yeah, I just resent them.
Mm, I don't know. I don't. I mean, I understand the desire to not want like your evil character to stop being evil. That's kind of how I felt about like Zeno. Um, but at the same time, I feel like the direction of this story is kind of going in there. But we'll see.
We'll see. But you want to know what would be interesting
Hmm?
is if the fact that they not only had to, because it says that they split into three beings. That the other being, like the child being, has to be into it as well, like the idea of them merging together. And what if she isn't?
Oh yeah,
Because
she.
that's still a part of Suzu, so that
That
would
is
have
true.
that would have to be brought up as well.
Yeah, yeah, it would. But we'll get to that when we get to that. Anyway, but yeah, Susie's main aim is to get Matsuri back to being a guy so they could start dating.
I
And
know.
then
She's
Shadow May's like, oh, okay, so that's the point in the story we're at.
yeah. Um and I'm still waiting for the moment where someone just slaps them and it's like, just get on with it. who cares if you're girls? Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, this chapter kind of goes into that a bit more, but we'll
I know.
get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. And I cannot wait for because David, when he did his live stream, got to catch up with Ayakashi Triangle, and when he got to that point, with chapter 69, he was like, "No, do it right now."
Uh, yeah, we were all there. But at the same time, I do at least kind of understand where they were coming from, but also they poked fun at it too, so I'm okay with it for now.
Yeah.
Because at
So we
least,
are.
at the very least, the characters like know they like each other. It's more just like they haven't quote unquote officially started dating, which whatever. That doesn't bug me
Which,
as much, to be honest, as so much as they just recognize their feelings.
which
Because like when you actually start dating, that's just whatever.
yeah. But you know what's going to be part of Shonen plan? She's going to be like, right, I have to do this. I have to do it. She basically forces Matsuri out on a date.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that is definitely the direction this is going.
Yeah,
But let's see. She invites Matsuri to go swimming, and I think my favorite part is for some weird reason, Suzu. I think they're trying to make her look jealous in this scene, but I don't know why she would be at
because
this point
technically,
in time.
because technically, Shadowmate is her. Technically, if you really think about it,
It's like it's not cheating, baby. It's you.
is you. Yeah, yeah.
Oh my god.
Because yeah, she actually says, "I'm also part of the Ayakashi Medium. Why can't you be nice to me?" So yeah, basically, it's like it's not cheating if it's you.
Yep. Oh man, that is hilarious.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Um.
and then Shadow May is trying to manipulate Matsuri
Yeah.
by saying she wants to change, but Matsuri is not falling for the, which, that's actually kind of nice that the
Yeah.
main character isn't being stupid and like, oh my God, they want to be a better person.
Yeah, because they're like, yeah, no, don't let your guard down. She was nice to you at one point, and then she kicked you, and then she kicked you repeatedly.
Yep.
Yeah. Um.
And then,
Then
yeah, we get back to Lou using water techniques.
yeah. Well, he.
These might be references, but I don't know. It's in
I know.
Japanese.
I know the first one. That's a Demon Slayer reference. First form water surface slash. That's a Demon
Hmm.
Slayer reference. Um.
Yeah. Maybe she'll get a Demon Slayer type power system. She'll get like a
Maybe.
sword.
Maybe I could definitely see that. Um.
And then, yeah, so then, like, then they're
We
still
have.
talking about Shadow May.
Yeah.
And
Wait.
I think I could kind of like this talk a little bit where they've kind of addressed that even Suzu, as an Akashi medium, is kind of getting persecuted as well. So
Yeah.
it's like every time she reincarnates, her life's gonna suck,
I know, I
which is
know.
sad, but it's true. Just
Yeah.
how it is.
So,
But yeah, they're just having like some cute friend moments where they're like, let's all bond together,
oh
and then
yeah,
we're gonna reform the villain with the power of friendship and all that.
with the power of love.
Yep.
Um,
Which I mean, something like that.
yeah. Um, but then we get back to Matsuri and Shonome, where Matsuri says, "You might be able to change, but you want to end the human world." And she brings up she brings up something quite interesting because she says it was completely different from this water. It was so cold, cold enough to make my spirits orchestrated even by my parents. I fell to the bottom of the river as a servant. So, who are her parents? That
Um,
is
well, first I think that says ostracized, not orchestrated.
ostracized even by my parents. Okay, bottom line, who are her parents? Like, who
Yeah.
are May's parents?
I mean, we're gonna probably learn more about her, so that might come up.
Yeah, that they might even be even more evil than she is.
That would be something.
Yeah,
But then, yeah, she's basically just continuously just trying to manipulate Matsuri by saying, "Oh yeah, if you were there, I may not have become super evil." And I'm like, I don't know about that, but still, it's funny that she's just kind of blowing bubbles in the water. She's
oh
like,
yeah,
she's evil, but she's also adorable, which is
I
like a
know.
really great combination.
I know. And then we have Yayu, Suyu, and Lucy who are like, "Hey, come on, let's be together." And then Shadowmate is like, "Screw this! I'm just gonna get full on," and she kisses Matsuri.
Oh man, my God, that panel.
Yeah, that panel. I think a lot. I love the
And
fact
this is
that
like,
I love the fact that on Twitter it took this chapter for someone to say, "Hey, maybe I should give Ayakashi Triangle a
yeah, yeah.
chance."
I respond to that. But the Randy, yeah, Randy, he has a very specific taste, and I think this story will very much appeal to him.
Yeah. Oh, where was it? I was thinking, because a lot of people were saying like, how can you go? How can you go? How are you about to go from peak exorcism to bottom tier entry? It's like it's not bottom tier entry.
No, this is like really top tier. Actually, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah. So just some of those comments just like baffled me.
Wait,
Yeah,
was where were these? Like on Twitter?
on the responses to when he said maybe time to read Ayakashi Triangle.
Oh, okay. I didn't. I don't think I read. The other responses didn't look too bad to me, but let me just check that real quick. Uh,
Actually, like the Zero guy, actually is pretty solid. Story mid tier though. Story is decent and interesting. That I only read it for. I love that just that response. Like he's got his priorities
oh,
right.
yeah. Okay, I see. There's like one character.
I can because there is an actual story going on. Uh,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I see it. Um. Okay. Wait. No. No. Okay. So what he's referring to, when he said Peak Exorcist, there's another series that Randy's like a huge fan of called Twin Star Exorcist. It's one of his favorites. I will say if I had to pick a favorite shonen couple after um, Taiyo and Mutsumi would probably be the couple from Twin Star Exorcist. But it's a good story, but I think it's a little overrated by its fan base just because it took a while for it to really get to its like greatness, in my opinion.
okay, fair enough.
But it's still like a decent story for those who want like a combat oriented shonen with some pretty good romance elements as well, and actually some really dark story beats to it. I have to get back into it. I put it on pause a while ago just because it took a while for the Shonen Jump Vault to get added, so I
Yeah,
kind of just left it behind for a bit. But anyway,
fair enough.
we were at the Kiss panel, page
Yeah,
14.
yeah. So we
Mm.
have, of course, Suzu being absolutely like, what the, um, if this was an 18 rated series, she'd be like, "What the hell, bitch? What the fuck do you think you're doing to my Matsuri?"
Wait, are you allowed to say that we're on stream?
I think I am. I think we're far
Okay,
into.
cool. I don't know how YouTube works.
I think we're far enough into the stream that I'm allowed to say that word.
Cool. So we have these two having their moment, and I found it funny because I just realized that this was like, or not, I didn't just realize, but when I was reading it, I realized like, oh yeah, this is in front of like their
Yeah,
class,
yeah, in front of the entire class. Yeah,
and then the response is, "You were so cool, I couldn't help it." So everyone out here is already thinking they are lesbian,
yeah, yeah.
and
Uh,
it is so much
so,
fun.
go on, Matsuri. Just be a lesbian now. Everybody knows it. So yeah, Matsuri thinks this is an attack from her, but she plays it off as like, "Oh, you were so cool, I couldn't help it," and everyone's like, "Sergei's brave. Kazumaki might be a bit boyish, but who knew those two are?" Before we get Shigarani and the mother saying, "Oh, this is your objective, destroying the bond between Suzu and Matsuri. You're trying to take Suzu's body, and that's how big of a role you see Matsuri in all of this. At this rate, Matsuri and Shodome will be the talk of the store. How will you respond to this? Suzu can't do it." And of course, Suzu, in traditional Suzu fashion, kisses, but goes one step further with tongues.
And the classmates are like, "This is getting exciting."
Yeah.
Oh my God. I think this is like, okay, for context, you have to remember that like these two are like cousins in the minds of this student body. And also, this is the first time I think like they've seen either of these have it these characters do anything romantic related. So this is just going to be like the best. I can't wait for these future chapters. And I think the two comments I think I really appreciate that I read about this is that number one, uh, Suzu's horniness can't be beat. This girl is like just always just super, super attracted to Matsuri, to say the least. And so Shadow May's going to have a hard time if she's going to go down this route. And two, both of them just kiss Matsuri in front of his mom.
Oh yeah, I didn't notice that.
I
So
didn't either. Someone pointed that out, and I'm like, oh my God, that is just so fun. Because she even says, so this is the battle between Ayakashi mediums in the next page.
yeah,
And I'm like,
yeah,
oh,
it really is. So what do you think the next chapter is going to be like?
oh, you look at, well, first, everyone has to be talking about this relationship. I think the character I really want to hear from is Lou, because, she's like actually their friend. So she might be like, oh, I didn't know you guys were like that.
No,
Because,
no,
like, obviously Yayo knows, but
yeah,
Lou doesn't. So I think this will be like a good chance for her to like get a little more into this. And number two, I think that Shadow May, like, it's gonna be like basically two girls fighting for over a girl who is
yeah,
actually a boy.
yeah. And again, I'm just gonna say it right now: gender equality right here. So yeah, even the female lead can be a bit lewd sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Very, very true.
But also the one that I'm
That's the
most
Reiwa.
the one I'm most interested in is nice Bakugo, basically.
Oh,
Like
Nino
how
Kuri.
Nina
Yeah.
how is he gonna react to this?
I mean, yeah, because he knows I think about Suzu, like her and Matsuri, but like it's gonna be like, oh my God, what did you do?
Yeah.
And
I'm
he's just like, it's
surprised
not my fault. I just got kissed. I didn't do anything.
I'm surprised he's not been in the last two chapters with Shadowmay in
Oh,
school.
oh, maybe. Oh, I mean, first of all, this chapter is like I think just girls swimming PE. I think in Japan they do divide boys and girls for
Yeah,
these
yeah.
things.
Yeah, but I'm surprised he's not been in the last two chapters.
Um, wait, was he?
He
Oh
wasn't
yeah,
in
no,
the
he
last.
wasn't in. Yeah, no, neither he nor Rio. So yeah, they're probably since like I said, next chapter I'm imagining is going to be school gossip, and just everyone watching this go down. It's probably going to involve Rio and Nino Kuru. And yeah, that'll be fun, especially if they also get dragged in. Because oh my God, if Rio pulls a move, I'm going to be so proud of her. And two, then I need Nino Kuru to also somehow get involved. And there it's like, oh my God, why is everyone going after Matsuri? He has
Yeah,
like his own harem, basically.
yeah. He has his own female harem whilst also being a female
Plus
himself.
Nino Kuru. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my God, lesbian harem. Let's go.
Yeah, yeah. So pretty fun chapter, and really can't wait to find out what happens next with the characters and how they're going to be responding to this.
Yeah. And overall, I think I said this on Twitter too. This chapters like this like help me like really illustrate how Ayakashi like it knows the kind of story it wants to tell. Like it does have like a plot going on and kind of like an interesting like dynamics with the antagonist. But additionally, it's like knows it's like okay, we're primarily an ecchi series, like more so even than the action because the action's like can be good when it wants to be, but the combat's overall fairly simple compared to like the ecchi. The ecchi just goes hard.
Yeah, yeah. I agree. I agree with that. So yeah,
So yeah, that's
that was
Ayakashi, I think. Unless you had anything else.
no. I had nothing else to say, so I guess we can move on to the big one.
Yep, Doctor Stone. Let me just pull up. Here we go.
Now, have you got it up?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah. Now, before we start, the thing I'm gonna bring up is just the conversation we all had earlier in the Discord server for Control Chaos. Is that if I can find it, yeah,
Okay, I'll pull it up too.
is if you go. you have to scroll up to
Yeah, you
when
guys had a lot to say, which is
when I
weird because normally it's pretty
if
quiet.
yeah, if you go up to when I post that article about what I think the Y man actually is, it starts from
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um.
So, yeah, Thurman's
So
comment, he really liked the chapter. It looked like,
yeah, it's the what more what he put. Curious to see how long the series has now. Definitely. Uh. Like it's more a case of like do them thinking like, oh, this is just going to be smooth sailing from here on out. But I think there is still going to be something else that's going to happen.
oh yeah, I mean, we talked about this. There's probably something going to go wrong with the launch. And I mean, I know we didn't even talk about the chapter yet, but I mean, I could see a chapter where after this one, or just like them going over like pre-launch plans and maybe some goodbyes and all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm I'm
To
still
make all
wait.
that emotional.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for the moment where we get the goodbye between Senior and Stanley because that's gonna be like a moment of like them just being like Smith flirting with each other basically.
Yeah. We're definitely going to get a moment between those two before the launch. Absolutely. So um, I think then we have someone saying that the series is going to be below 250, 300. I can see it
Yeah,
being below 300 at this rate. I was hoping for a little over 300 personally, but I could see it ending a little under 300 at what rate we're at. But
I would
250, I'm not too sure about that.
I would give it my estimate would be two between 280 and and if and if but if Inagaki wants to do it just so that it doesn't make 300 299.
Oh, yeah, yeah, no, yeah, I definitely see it like above 250, maybe, yeah, 270, 280 would probably work. Because then that's like, because that would be like another 60-ish chapters, which is
Yeah,
about like a season's worth of content, which I could see like the moon, honestly, like taking that long, because especially if things
yeah.
also go wrong on Earth
I could
while they're
definitely
up on the moon, and then there's like epilogue stuff after they deal with Wyman, whatever's
I could
happening with that.
I can honestly see that after we meet Wyman, that's probably when Wyman's going to play his trump card.
Yeah,
Yeah,
whatever that is.
yeah. Also, I just received a message from uh Danny Theo Griffin in Discord. Like, uh, oh, uh, oh, I'm just gonna post because it's quite a sad message. So not gonna say it because he
Okay.
might not want to say it, but I'm just gonna reply to him.
Yeah, yeah, you can do that. I'll just keep going with the chapter then for now because we haven't actually talked about that. All right. So, starting with the chapter, we have Yuzu basically making molds for spacesuits, which I'm thinking, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I didn't think about molds, but of course Yuzu would. And it looks like they made the spacesuits, which I'm not sure if that just happened off screen. I mean, they
I
just
think
gave us,
yeah, because we see a diagram on the first page, and then so yeah, they were probably just made off screen.
yeah, which is a little bit sucks, but that's fine. At this point, I guess we don't really need to see the exact process of the spacesuits. But again, I hope once we get to the anime, they kind of like actually like just have like a quick crafting scene. I really feel like the anime could flesh out a lot of stuff
Oh
that
no,
the
no,
manga
no,
doesn't.
no! I don't think it does. I don't think it. No, I don't think.
Wait,
I
sorry,
think
what?
that's. I think that is just a fantasy of like
It's
what the
just
actual
visualization. They didn't mail the
visual.
suits yet.
Yeah, because we see in the next panel like Kohaku not in the spacesuit or no any indication because again I think we still need a chapter of like just gun training for Senku and Kohaku as well.
Yeah, I was expecting that honestly. This chapter, I wasn't expecting this. I was expecting more Stanley oriented stuff, but he really didn't play a role at all,
No,
which
he
is weird.
didn't. Um, so we have Ukyo saying,
I mean, I really hope we do spend some time with Stanley before the launch because I
"Oh
feel
yeah,
like we really should like know more about his character before we spend like a good amount of time on the moon with Stanley.
all right, yeah, definitely we do need that to happen." And we have the basically the roadmap to the spacesuits, which is plutonium, um, na- niphon, electricity, chromium, salt, fluorite, silicon, rubber, aluminium, and put that all and final. Put that all together, you get the spacesuit. Hey, Final Records making a comeback. Yeah.
Uh,
So we have Ukyo saying that didn't they mention the three sacred treasures for the moon mission? Well, here they are. Yeah, which was because we had that roadmap in when they were in Europe, which were the spacesuit, the rocket engines, and spaceship. Which, oh my god, I remember when we thought that was going to be a lot longer.
yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Uh,
And so then they just kind of like talk more about actually.
I love the fact that Chrome calls final binal.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was just Caleb's choice in the translation based on the raws, because like it's written out as vinyl on the page. So
Yeah, but
I actually,
it's more like how in the past they've done that with the series, like with the paper where it was like Kami and it was like three different words.
yeah, it's true. Could be a Japanese thing.
Yeah.
And I do like that the next little panel we get kind of shows like a subtle growth for Yo's character. And when I was reading that the first time, I was thinking to myself, you know, Yo kind of has like his own little character arc happening in the background. Where first he was like that like rough and tough corrupt cop who was trying to get ahead in the world, and then he tried to sneak back in after his confrontation with Chrome, but like over time, like he just was like a actually diligent worker for the kingdom of science. You joined Yuzahira's build, and now he's starting to respect the scientific knowledge that Chrome has and like the diligence everyone puts in. So it's actually like it's a nice way to show his character growth, I think, in that tiny panel.
Yeah, but also as well, yeah, Magma's subtle little growth as well, like the fact that he's been around Yo for so long, he kind of predicts what Yo is probably thinking.
Yeah, that's also true. That kind of
Yeah,
shows their friendship
yeah,
off the side.
yeah,
But
and
yeah,
Yo's
then we
like,
have
yeah,
Nick.
I'm not saying anything because
Yeah,
Mag was probably you better not be thinking that Mag, you better not be thinking that Yo.
yep. And then Nikki points out a good thing where it's like, man, our order of operations, it was kind of weird. And again, kind of concurs with that. And it's pretty
Hmm.
true. Like, it's not like this series, even though the series does show like how to go from stone to the modern world, it's more specifically to go from stone to building a rocket to the moon,
Yeah,
which will cause a few gaps in creation
yeah.
along the way there.
So we have
Um,
Senku saying that yeah, we've got people all over the real world to quickly run through the literal rocket science while ignoring plenty of other stuff we can make, which gets Senku getting a bit sentiment there. Like we know that when he doesn't show his face, he's getting a bit sentimental there.
Yep, he again did point that out. But I'm wondering in this panel what Senku's thinking. Because like the way he's thinking, was he
It
thinking, "Oh man, like I need to like invent some stuff that didn't get invented because we missed out on some cool stuff," or is he actually thinking to himself, "I'm about to go to the moon. There is still a chance I won't come back, so
I
I
think
should do all the crafting I want now."
I think it's a combination of both. I think it's like a combination of like, okay, we didn't get to do this stuff, and him thinking like, I'm going to the moon. There's a chance I won't come back, so I'll do it now. But also, I think it's like a kind of thing of like Senku probably knows like something bad might happen as well. Like what I'm predicting. Like I think there might be actually be the rocket might actually crash land on the moon because if there's still going to be if they're going to be petrified, they get up in space. Okay, that watch thing happens. They get unpetrified, but then but what happens if they have a split second and their rockets crashing into the moon? They'll have to petrify themselves again, wouldn't they, in order to survive?
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah, or maybe the Y Man actually will send out a petrification beam when he notices that the spaceship is approaching the moon.
Could be, but at the same time, the moon launching itself is a little bit weird, as we talked about, because they're going to petrify themselves for a amount of the launch, which I still don't get that
Yeah,
idea.
I don't
So,
get that.
like, we'll get to it. Like, if they, I mean, as far as we know, it could be like you said, the mechanism they set up to revive themselves could just like not work, and they're like, well, they're still stuck as stone on the
Yeah,
moon.
yeah.
Oops.
Oops. So anyway,
Oh my god.
moving on with the chapter, Senku says like, "Hey, how about some last minute crafting projects before the moon launch? We can rip up just about anything." And I love the things that they
Oh,
come up with.
sorry. I just wanted to pick up something quick because I'm reading the comments on Manga Plus while we're doing this as well.
Okay.
But on the first page, I think this is a good thing that someone pointed out. Thank you to whoever pointed that out. I could pull up your name, but I'll forget in a second anyway. When Yuzu is building all those molds for the spacesuits, there's some of those molds are in the background, which I noticed, but I didn't realize how many there were. There's like a lot of them.
Oh yeah, which that could actually be like,
Evidence that we might have more people going up.
yeah, that could actually be a possibility. Because again, I've been saying this for a while. It just seems weird that we've got Stanley, Chrome, Stanley, Senku, and Kohaku, but no Chrome, no Suika, no Gen, like that. Just seems like so weird that that's happening.
Yeah, so I think Suzu, or not Suzu,
Because if
we
you
just got
look,
Ayakashi. Yuzu, she's like making some spacesuits for everybody else
yeah,
also.
because if you look at one of them looks shorter than the other ones, and who's like despite growing up, who's the shortest out of all of them?
Probably Mantle, but I
No,
don't know where he is.
no. Like the one that you know that will
Yeah, I know
like
you're getting at Suika, but at the same
Suika.
time,
Yeah,
I feel like there's.
of course, you're gonna say Mantle. Yeah, where is Mantle? That's what I want to know. Did they just leave him in North America?
Did he even come on the boat? Oh, yeah, he did. Yeah,
Oh,
I don't know.
where is it?
But he should
Is
be
it?
with Magma, so he's probably in Japan somewhere.
Yeah, probably. I like to,
But
but
just
yeah,
shout out to CCC Candies. That's actually what their name was for pointing out the spacesuit thing. Did not
yeah,
notice that.
yeah. Did not notice that.
Good
Um,
spot. All
but
right, so
anyway,
we were on page 4.
page 4 and 5. So Senku's
Yeah, and
asking if
so
they
what I
can
want
make.
to get here is, oh yeah, and someone else, I think a couple of chapters ago, pointed out to me that, look, we're seeing like the city of Japan's kind of develop in the background, which, like, I feel like this part of the story, the biggest problem is the passage of time isn't well illustrated. But I guess the city building is how they're trying to do that. I don't think it's necessarily done too well, but it's there, I guess.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Which
going
makes
onward, I think my favorite part of the inventions, well, there's a couple of things, but I think the biggest one that got a laugh out of me was Yuzu wanting a washing machine.
yeah, of all well, the thing that got the biggest laugh out of me was like PS5.
Oh, yeah. And I think I pointed out on the Viz website to somebody because someone asked, it's like, wait, they didn't have a PS5 when they were petrified. And I'm like, yeah, they was petrified in 2019, but 2019, there were rumors of the PS5 coming out. So I'm pretty sure people were excited to buy a PS5 in 2019.
Well, even if there weren't rumors, people were probably thinking like, okay, the next console after PS4 is going to be PS5.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
and I mean, that is a good thing you pointed out because I will point out something a little later related to that.
yeah,
But
and robot maid,
robot made. I
just
mean,
like,
that would be nice if Senku could do that,
well,
but
hey,
a little too hard.
Senku, I know he was petrified before he had a chance for it to come out, but me and Roboco, any chance you could make that happen?
Oh, actually, yeah, that's it. I didn't think you read Roboco.
No, no, I've skimmed through a few. I might actually go back and like give it a good binge read of a series.
Okay, I will say for a while, Roboco was just one of those series that, like, the good chapters were pretty good, but then like the bad chapters were horrendous. But I think it now is like been mostly a standard of quality, with it minus one or two still like really bad chapters.
Okay, fair enough.
Um,
But yeah,
but
uh,
it is a fun series, all things considered.
okay, but yeah, washing machine for you. Use it. I guess that's because she's
She's basically
she's
the
like
clothes lady, that's why, but
clothes
it's
lady.
also
Yeah,
still funny that that's the most important thing to her.
yeah. It's like Taiju's equivalent of the thing that he's always wanted.
Yep, we'll get to that because
We'll
that's
get
like
to,
my favorite part of the whole thing.
yeah.
Well, not my
Uh,
favorite, but one of it because it's the thing I wanted.
yeah. So we have Miyamia, obviously with hers being a video camera, that makes sense for her.
Oh, Minami, yeah.
Minami, one of the former Tsukasa Empire people, protein powder. Like that's
Actually, I think that one's under the American soldier,
okay.
based on his uniform anyway.
Yeah, protein powder. And then Ryusui is just like slot machine, microwave oven, jacuzzi, wine cellar.
And
I
then
just,
again, it's like someone has several desires.
but I
But
desire
I
everything.
oh, it's so in character for oh.
And then we have Senku in the title page just sitting on a bunch of boxes with his devil-like face on it.
Yeah, because some of these things are like too hard even now. But yeah, for the title page, page 5. What logo are they kind of referencing there?
I have no idea.
Yeah, me neither. I was thinking, what is like, is this a shipping company logo that I don't know? But I really couldn't tell you.
Hmm,
I feel like it has to be referencing something because it seems almost too specific to not
yeah.
be. But I don't know what it is. Well, hopefully the trivia will point it out. They're going to be a little late on the trivia this time around, they said, because of all the inventions, which
Okay.
is understandable. But
Yeah. So we have the first invention being a microwave, which pretty basic to understand how a microwave works.
yeah, and
Uh,
it's interesting is they kind of did the opposite when they made freeze dried ramen in the anime. So it's actually pretty cool to see it like just the opposite procedure.
yeah,
I won't explain the mechanism if you don't remember it all, but basically it's like freezing water, evaporating water, and then freezing the rest.
yeah.
So they're just basically just doing the exact opposite, which makes sense. A freeze microwave is the opposite of a freezer.
Yeah. But my only thing is like, let's hope it doesn't go beep, beep, beep,
Oh
beep.
yeah, Senku stopped the beeping, the
Yeah,
infernal beeping.
the infernal beeping, and it's just like a ping.
Oh yeah, the other thing I wanted to point out on page 7. When I was a kid, I had Dish TV, and like when it was a heavy rainstorm, our signal would just stop. And I always wondered why that was happening. But this chapter actually did a pretty good job explaining that.
Yeah, well, I just thought that did make sense even back there because like what happens when rain comes down and soaks electricity. It's like the power goes out.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a bit different, but
No,
in
no,
this case, this
oh, go ahead, go ahead.
I was gonna say in this case, like they specifically talked about how microwave interacts with water, so the water kind of acts as interference. And with the electricity thing, it kind of. I think that also has to do with the lightning, also in thunderstorms.
Yeah, and that as well. Um, so yeah, we have the final that they're going to be creating for this that the final created for the spacesuits, stretch it out real thin, and they get basically microwave dinners.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
And
And we
yeah,
have
and then
Nikki and Nikki and Gen saying like we're back in the 21st century dining basically. I suspected food related crafting is coming first because of Dia Ryusui's so-called noble desire.
that's so true.
And
So true. Yeah.
I love Senku's face on the the panels below. Like you have the uh, washing machine spin a giant
Spin a
bucket
giant
around.
bucket with a motor, and I'm
Around.
like, yeah, that's true. That's all
That
a washing machine is.
that's all what a washing machine is. Yeah, that's it. And usually is like the most happiest person in the world. Like, yay!
And I'm like, come on, girl, you could have asked for more. This is like you're one of your best friends. He just asked you to invent whatever. You could have asked more for a washing machine.
and then we have water plus sodium hydroxide plus vinegar gives us cellophane. There's your film.
I will say, like, okay, the washing machine thing was hilarious, and I think the microwave was detailed enough for what it was. But the cellophane, this was one invention where I'm like, okay, come on, you could have done a little bit more than
Yeah,
that. This is like film. It's like a big thing. You could like they did so much with photography when it first came out that I thought, hey, you can do so much with a video camera. You guys can make a movie documenting like the building of this spaceship. Like, but I
yeah,
don't
they
know.
could have. Oh, they really could have done that. That would have been amazing.
Like I remember how you said one good idea for recap, or when playing the anime, they could have like season, what was it, season 4? I
Season
think you
4
said.
because that would probably start off
Yeah,
with them
before
actually.
they went to America, right? Yeah, so they
Yeah,
could have the Minami interview, and I thought, oh, hey, that's a really good idea. That and like with the film, they could have done something like for the moon arc. They could have just before they went to the moon, they could have shown off some stuff they filmed, or I don't know. That
yeah,
could have been a whole thing,
that
but
could have really been a whole
that's my
thing.
one thing with this chapter. I mean, I think Shonen Oji mentioned that like this is like a really good chapter. Most fans should be like really happy with it, and I am. But there are still parts of it. The fact that we're just kind of like doing all these inventions, where I'm like, could have done a little bit more with some of these things, because from a science perspective, I would have liked to see more.
Yeah,
But at the same time, we've seen everything Senku listed is something we've seen him use, so it's still fine.
yeah. So we have pocket hand warmers. Is that meant to be just a reference? Like, okay, we're because the chapter is coming out in December.
Oh, I actually have no idea what season they're in. I don't see. Are they in the winter wear right now?
No, they're not in the winter wear, but I think it's just meant to be like, okay, this chapter's coming out in December. Let's just give a nod to the fact, yeah, the chapter's being released in the winter.
Oh, I mean, yeah, that could be. I mean, what I liked about that particular invention was that Chrome was actually the one who did it. Kind of still showing him that he's like still like a member of the science team who can just
Yeah,
invent stuff.
and
And
also
it's
we,
actually a pretty creative way to do it. Iron sand plus saltwater sheet.
yeah,
I like that
that
because it
makes
goes back to
sense.
some of the basic ingredients they had from the very beginning.
Yeah. So we also have Senku cereal. So yeah, Senku brought back cereal,
Yeah,
milk.
milk, which I
Um,
mean, milk is just milk. So,
yeah,
uh,
and he made an Amaryllis
fridge.
doll.
We
I
already have a
think
fridge.
yeah, yeah, he bought a fridge. Well, we already had a freezer, so yeah, a fridge would be easy to make. And we have like an Amaryllis doll at the bottom there. Is that meant to be?
I guess I see. The thing is, like, we also see a protein shake. So I think because someone mentioned wanting protein shakes, so I think that maybe the Amaryllis doll was like because we also see next to the protein shake the Senku station, which is their PS5.
Oh
And
yeah.
so I think that that doll is probably like supposed to be like a consolation prize for the person who wanted the order made.
Yeah, yeah. But of
But I'm
course,
glad Senku brought back video games.
yes, he
And
did.
he's now basically Sony. He owns the IP.
Yeah. Um, and of course, Taiju, ever since the beginning of
Oh,
the
I did
series.
want to. Sorry,
Go,
right
go
before
ahead.
that, I also see like a wheel there, and I was thinking, was that like for like a vehicle? Like what kind of
I think,
vehicle was it?
I think it was just meant to be a motor. I think someone said a motorcycle, and Senku was like, "Oh, please, I could do that in my sleep."
I thought about that, but then I'm like, well, didn't we already invent motorcycles?
That's why I'm saying. That's why I'm saying. Like, he could do that easily in his sleep now.
Okay, yeah, I think there's like one other dimension I don't recognize, but that's fine. We can get to Taiju's.
Yeah. Taiju, ever since the beginning of the series, the first thing that he wanted bringing back smartphones.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And if for anyone who's watched our reviews, uh, I wanted this to happen before he went to launch because I'm like, come on, he keeps bringing up the smartphone. You need to bring smartphones back.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be honest, I honestly thought they would do it like offhandedly, but no, they went into detail.
Oh
And
yeah,
I was so happy. Like, that's
which
like I love
which
that.
which kind of made up for the fact that we kind of skipped over a few of these inventions.
Yeah, I mean, he built the whole
'Cause-
Senku station. Like,
Yeah,
that could have been fun.
yeah, but I think that because this is more important because this is like basically tying back to the beginning of the series.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
Really is.
also as well, question: if you were in because Inagaki and Boichi have been asked this question before, but if you're in this situation, what invention would you be wanting to come back first?
Oh, I mean, come back. Do you mean like where we're
Like,
at the story now, where it's like Senku's like, yeah, we can make whatever you want, or do you mean
yeah,
like at the very beginning of the series?
no,
Because
no,
like
not
I think
not
because Inagaki once mentioned that like a really good invention to have like early on, especially for someone like me, and you don't know this about me, is would be glasses because I need glasses. So that would be important because I could not see very well without it. But
yeah.
if we're talking about at this point in the story,
I'm talking about this point of the story. If you could have one invention to be brought back, what would it be?
I mean, it would. I kind of with the video game console guy, I would be so bored without entertainment. I would definitely want that back. And plus, at this point, it's doable. So,
Yeah. Well,
what would it be for you then?
it would be a laptop because then I would be a it would be a laptop with set with oh, I can't use Microsoft Word. I've got to do it in the pot in the Senku uh, with Senku Word so that I could actually do some writing.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah. So that would be for that would be for me. That would be my thing. I'd want a laptop.
Yeah, I'm kind of like thinking Game Station would be nice, but then even Taiju's invention's a good choice.
Yeah. At long so yeah, and then everyone's saying like can this really be done for real at long last? And they're making the liquid
Like I
crystal
think Ukio's expression's the funniest somehow. He's like,
oh yeah.
"Oh, the smart."
Oh yeah, definitely. And uh,
Yeah, then they
it's
talk about liquid crystals.
oh, I was just gonna say it looked to me in that panel that Tsukasa's eyes were lighting up a little bit there.
Oh, yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so they're making the crystal
Because
touchscreen
he
for a
was
smartphone.
there when Taiju first said the smartphone thing.
Yeah, yeah, he was. Um, so crystal touchscreen for a smartphone, the liquid one, and Chelsea giving her expression like, how in the heck and where does one find this liquid crystal? But
And
they
he was like, it's not like actual
yeah,
crystal,
it's not
guys. Come
actual
on.
crystal. Yeah. Um. But
He goes into the whole chemical explanation of what it is. We don't really have to do that.
no,
I
we
don't.
don't.
I know
No.
most of the science in this kind of series. This one I actually don't. So I'm hoping that either illustrious ludications or the trivia will kind of go into that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'll look into
Um.
it myself later.
Yeah. I'll probably look into it. And obviously, I'll go into detail when I do my review of the chapter. But
Mm.
basically, uh, the long and short of it is that the liquid crystal is going to be sandwiched between between two grooves, and then twisted around, and it will create a pathway for the light, sort of like a twisted tunnel going from left rays to cross rays, and the electricity that's shook by it will make the crystal straighten out, so the twisted tunnel doesn't allow light, and those are the spots on the screen that appear dark, basically.
Yep. So to put it
I love
simply, think we made a touch screen.
and I love the fact that that game's like makes sense in theory, but I can't claim to understand it. And Kazuki's like, yeah, I don't get it either. He doesn't understand it. He just builds it.
Yeah, which I mean that's kind of true for most people reading the series. I'll probably understand as soon as I look into it a bit more.
Yeah. But all he heard is that the liquid crystal goes dark when electricity is shot through it, and then Senku uses two sheets of vinyl on top, and whenever you touch the screen, there's an electric reaction because of that, and that's how you get the smartphone, which Taiju always wanted. So his character, I think, is complete at this point. He's finally got the thing that he always wanted back.
Well, okay, pause. I mean, the first thing was asking Yuzu out. So,
Yeah.
I mean, until they're married, I'm not calling this the
Okay.
end.
Okay. Yeah.
But
Fair
yeah, a
enough.
big part of his character is like done because like this is what I want to see for the longest time. So nice.
Yeah. It's so and yeah, sure it's nice and small too, but before and of course in typical Not So fashion, it never goes well. And Taiju has to carry a big lumping machine on his back just to have it be functional. And
Yeah, because we
they
don't
do.
have micro capacitors and all that stuff just yet to make it
Yeah.
small.
And of course they do the typical. No, of course it's huge.
Yep.
Throwing themselves on their back. Before we get Sai going, the core of the phone is still an actual computer after all, which is true. It basically phones these days are pretty much just like mini computers in your hand.
They really are.
Yeah. So of course everyone is like, yeah, Senku didn't just make this smartphone for his bestie Taiju. He obviously had an ulterior
Well, okay,
motive.
sorry, before we get there, they did bring up the fact that the LCD lets us text, email, and even play video games. So I feel like this, just the fact that we have this device for the joke, we also have like a communications device, which will be important.
Yeah,
I just
definitely.
wanted to point that out. Okay, now you can go on.
Yeah,
Because yeah, I
definitely.
do like Chelsea saying because like in my mind I was also like, oh man, Senku, you did it. You made the thing that your best friend wanted for the longest time. But then Senku's like, nah, I have an
Of
ulterior
course,
motive.
yeah, of course he has an ulterior motive. You should have known
Yeah,
that.
he's Senku.
Yeah.
Man,
But yeah, the ulterior motive is that the spaceship is going to be crammed full of touchscreens because Brun- uh, Brunham tube TVs get wrecked by turbulence.
wrong tube. But yeah, those are very sensitive to vibrations because they're
Yeah,
just glass tubes. They can and will break.
yeah,
And this is a rocket, so yeah.
yeah. And we cut to the panel where we have basically the top half is the spaceship being built, but which yeah, I'm kind of a bit disappointed that the spaceship building was skipped
Happening off
over
screen. Yeah,
happening
because I
off
think they're
screen.
putting some parts together. Yep, it definitely looks like they're just like putting together some parts. Oh, and also
Yeah,
they just bring up the weight thing once more time because then they have the cockpit ready once they have the
yeah.
screen.
And again, Shonoji was like, this if this didn't make you emotional, then nothing will. Something like that in his tweet. And yeah, it was a pretty emotional moment, but I think what made the emotion of the Perseus building so impactful is the fact that we got to see every little step by step process on screen.
True, I will give you that for the Perseus, but I think what makes this chapter emotional is what we start seeing on page 16 onwards, which is
Yeah,
like the series
I
roadmap.
know, I know. That's what makes it the most emotional. The fact that we see where they've come from to where they are now. We get all the things that have been building up to this one point, and all the flashbacks of like will be the Adam and Eve of this stone world, and then we get the second half of it, which was the final, the computer, the internet ties, basically everything that they went on their round trip around the world to get to the point where it's time to bring this end fight on the moon.
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh my god. It was, yep. These last couple pages were great. Even if like the final thing was like moon rocket complete, I was like, wait, huh? Okay. I
yeah,
guess that's happened. But
yeah.
as a
But
whole, this is a really good chapter.
here's the
Kind of
question:
sped run through some inventions, unfortunately, but I do hope we see some astronaut training before
Yeah,
launch.
well, we've still got to go back to Treasure Island because
Yeah, we also got to do that.
we see the rocket on the Perseus. So we've still got to go back to Treasure Island. And the thing is, wasn't the rocket meant to be built in space?
That's what I thought too. So I'm a little confused.
Yeah.
Unless this is like one of the rockets that is going to bring up part of the other rocket.
Yes, because you remember when you had that big emotional moment of like, oh, we have the cell phone, and then Kaku brought up immediately like, yeah, who's gonna call us on the? Oh, sorry, we have to make another one.
Yeah, so I mean, maybe this is me just hoping, but I do hope that this is like not actually the final rocket and just like the rocket to take up the other rockets.
Yeah, I think so too. I because it
But
just
we'll
seems
see.
it just is a bit like her. Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, overall, really good chapter. Very good to see how far the series has actually come and started to wrap up some story arcs as well. But the question is, how long left do we have? Do we have a year? Do we have a year and a half? That remains to be seen.
I I don't think we have like a. It's hard to picture a full year though. At the same time, but might it might make it if they do the moon arc correctly.
Yeah,
Because there's a chance this could, like, as some people have said, like maybe this will be in like June, but they would kind of have to really shorten the moon arc to do that.
yeah,
Because like
because
at the same time, it's like because like a half a year is still like
25 chapters.
20, yeah, and 20 chapters. Because like 20 chapters ago, because I go back sometimes with the series, it's like 20 chapters ago, we were just like starting, we just like left Brazil, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we left Brazil, and in one point of view, that is like a lot happened considering we traveled the whole world. But at the same time, that doesn't it wasn't that long ago. It doesn't feel that long ago. So for the moon arc, I can see. I feel like that's too soon. I think we have to get a little bit more. So I think
Yeah,
at least I can see
I
at least
would,
30 more,
I
maybe
would,
possibly 50.
I would love it if the if the actual launching of the rockets, like, I know this is kind of stretching because we're on 222, but how awesome would it be, like 239, or at the very least 2229, because then that's 90 chapters since Senku announced that we're going to the moon.
Two. Wait, sorry, which chapter? 229.
229, because that would be 90 chapters since Senku announced
So
we're going
like
to the moon.
7 chapters from now.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if it'll be that much longer to launch, to be honest with you. Just, I mean, I was thinking we could launch, like I think someone said, like either like the last chapter of the year or like maybe the first chapter of like the new year or something,
Well,
just to
if
like kind of open
well,
it up.
here's the thing: if it's the chapter of to end the year, that will be next week's chapter.
Was there no chapter
There's no
on the
chapter. Uh, unless there's
like
a
on the Christmas weekend?
no, there won't be a chapter on the Christmas weekend.
Oh, okay, okay. So yeah, so then maybe because the other thing I was thinking is if I remember correctly, Senku's birthday is like Stone Day, right? Which is like
Yeah,
January 4th.
yeah,
So I mean, if we had a chapter like on the weekend, like right before his birthday, that could be something.
yeah. Which will be the New Year's one, because that'll be Sunday the
The
2nd
second,
of
yeah.
January. Yeah,
So I think, I mean, I'm just saying it's almost more realistic to believe the launch will happen sooner than later.
yeah. Fair enough, fair enough. But I've just got to say one thing. I am so happy that I share the same birthday week as Senku.
Oh, right, yeah. Well, when's your birthday exactly?
The 7th of January.
Oh, okay, cool. So let's see if I can remember when we get to it.
Yeah. Yeah. It will be on a Friday. It will be on a Friday. I know this because
Yeah,
it's
looks
two
like it.
weeks after. It's 2 weeks after Christmas Eve.
Ah, got it.
Yeah.
Okay, and I think that is it for the chapter.
Yep. That is it for the chapter. Pretty good chapter. Re- really looking forward to seeing where we go from here.
Yep.
Yeah,
I would say like the negatives might be some of the rushed inventions that were
yeah,
happening because we just got to a point in the story where we're starting to slow down more, and I want to see some more character chapters, but we might still get that,
yeah.
hopefully.
We might do. Hopefully, hopefully.
And but otherwise, I that final roadmap. Oh my God, that was amazing. And of course, the
Yeah,
smartphone thing, which is the thing I was asking for. At this point, all I need is like Taiju, like married to user, and then I have like most of the
Taiju
things I
to use.
needed.
Yeah. Well, the thing I need most as well is for Crone to actually confess, Crone to marry Ruri. That needs to
Yeah,
happen
that
as
too.
well.
It needed us.
Yeah.
They can just like propose at the same time. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just have a double wedding
Oh,
and be done with
oh,
it.
if something bad does go happen in the on the moon, and it's like, okay, Taiju, Chrome, you're going up there, and then they're like, Yuzuriya, Ruri, will you marry us?
Oh, that would be so good. That would be amazing. I would like that. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
Um,
then, like Ryusu could pilot if we were still sticking with the team of three.
Yeah, because it does seem weird that Ryusu Bob, I'm the backup pilot. That's to me
Yeah,
is basically
and
screaming
as someone
something.
pointed out, there's more spacesuits too. But
Yeah,
yes,
like that's basically screaming to me something's gonna happen. Something's gonna happen.
plus, I mean, we just said Taiji was going up, but Tsukasa also
Yeah,
was
also
hinted to going up for a while too. I mean, I still think his character arc still ended well without it, but
yeah, but
um,
Taiju was mentioned as one of the possible candidates.
he was. So I could see that. And I really like your proposed ending. Like, okay, if I come back from this, we're getting married kind of thing, like in those movies where it's like I'm gonna go be a hero, but then we're gonna settle down after this.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
That would be so perfect. Oh my God.
Yeah,
Now I hope that happens.
I
That
hope
put him
so
ahead.
too. I hope so too. But yeah, anyway, that was the end of the stream because no more chapters to talk about. So yeah, thanks for whoever commented. If you're not those of you who weren't a bot, which was pretty much all of you except for Karma. So yeah,
Yeah, and it's also Zing gets you, I think was here
yeah, and Son
earlier.
gets them as well. Yeah, he was in here earlier, and yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Hope whoever watches this later on at some point enjoys it, and hope to see you again in the next stream. So until then, peace.